Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning. It is a January 29th, last trading day of the month. We've got options expiring today. It is going to be fucking crazy. Technical term there, YouTube. I'm sorry. Guys, today, so apparently Robinhood is going to allow you to buy GME today with limit orders up big overnight. I still look at this and it appears to me market makers getting out of the way of informed trading. So this could really go anywhere. I'm not going to say that like automatically means that we're going to be up at $500 again today, but it sure feels like it could be. And man, this is just spreading like wildfire. Everywhere I looked yesterday, they were talking about this, and it's starting to spread to other assets too, as you'll see here in a second. So let's go over to the charts. Where's my volume profile? Okay, so here you see in the E-mini yesterday, there was quite a rise overnight in the S&P 500, and then again overnight it dropped. Okay, these drops are almost exactly mirroring what is going on with GameStop. Okay, it appears to me that what's going on is when GameStop goes up, shorts are losing money, and this hedge fund basket index that Goldman Sachs watches goes down, and that is why you are seeing the swings in the S&P 500. So be aware, if this really blows up, and I think you see other people go broke, it could hurt equity indexes. So we can go short the equity indexes with the micros, but I am saving a little bit of cash to try and buy the dip if this really goes down. I can see your comments. I will read the comments here in a second when we're done with going through all of the assets, right? Okay, treasuries, on the other hand, continue down. So you would think if there is risk-off sentiment that treasuries would be moving up, but you've got a bunch of other influences very specific to the treasuries and the currencies moving that, which creates a very interesting situation where you don't really have the flight to safety asset at the time that you need it the most. So treasuries down. Oil's holding okay. I mean, oil seems to be doing its own thing, and I think people are still bullish on oil, and that could maybe continue up. Okay, now gold. We're seeing gold. Oh, we need to roll over here, don't we? Roll over. Hopefully that fixes our Bitcoin chart too, because we got stuff to talk about there. Okay, so gold saw a rise yesterday and then fell back down, and here today we're seeing it rise again, and that is because the Reddit Legion is now starting to target gold and silver, and that is why I have in the hashtags the titles AG. I took a position in this yesterday. I bought some shares and I bought an option. They're both, I bought in at 16 and we're up. So gold, we're gonna have to keep a closer eye on gold. Copper, still having some concerns about demand in China and so forth, but they seem to be moving up with the rest of the metals. Now, when we come over and we look at the dollar, you can see, they've been hanging out in that 90.6 area, but now they have come back down. And a big driver behind that is monetary decisions by Japan. I mean, they were down, but geez, this move overnight is just whoo. Okay, so Japanese yen having a noticeable impact on the dollar and everything else. Wow, look at this huge order in the Treasury 10-year at 137.00 half. Wow. Okay. Yes, and then lastly, we got to talk about Bitcoin. Oh, it still doesn't fix the chart. We get this weird thing where, okay, so listen, we're just going to change the data series to only show us like the last 10 days because if you include that December, it screws the chart up for whatever reason. Okay, that's better. Okay, so over here, we were saying short Bitcoin, and it was going really well. There are a lot of options expiring today, and a drop below 3,000 could cause like some positions to puke. But then Elon Musk started putting stuff about Bitcoin on his Twitter, which, you know, is kind of feels like manipulation, but it's totally legal for him to say, I like Bitcoin, and you know, have everybody follow him. Just be aware, buying something because somebody else bought something is not necessarily the best trade. If you can buy it before everybody else buys it because they bought it, then that would work out. But if you're the last person to buy it and then that person decides to get out, you're screwed, right? So keep that one in mind. Meanwhile, the bear case in Bitcoin was based on fundamental value and transactions on the blockchain. If new speculation is coming in, that trumps anything that we saw on the Bitcoin chart. So I think that for now, that short is done. I did take a small position on it. I'm just going to let that one go. There's no point in me trying to exit it, so I'll just let that one expire worthless. We'll wait for this rush to come through and jump back on it later. Because you've got to get more people to come in, and if more people start coming in here, the blockchain starts having serious issues. All right, so how about changing the date? Thank you. We'll do that first. Save. Let's do the text to speech. I'm going to beg Winston to find her way into Discord again. I'm gonna try every day. Business Insider says this GameStop thing is not funny. It's stupid. It's not stupid. And I mean, you can call it funny, but well, hold on. We get the big numbers coming in here. Hold on. Let's make sure I'm all ready for that, because this could be some moving numbers. We are going to be getting some personal income numbers in particular. That's crazy that they had that big order there, because all that. Here we got employment, cost, benefits, spot 6, cost of wages, spot 9. Employment class index, spot 7, better than expected. Still looking. Let me learn Discord and see if my extension cord will reach that far. All you have to do is click the Discord link in, and it'll take you to Discord, and then you have to create an account and stuff. Okay, personal income month over month, spot 6 versus an expected spot 1. That is going to crush the treasuries. Jeez. And look, big boy's back. Okay, E-mini reacting to this approvingly, but not super huge. Pull up my E-mini chart over here on the other side. Or maybe I should just put it right here. I'll put it right here. Don't necessarily need to see the don't necessarily need to see the order windows. So there's notifications and stuff set up. So I'll just put that there. I don't need Bitcoin anyways. I'm disappointed with the Bitcoin, but it's okay. Like it can come up. Probably they're gonna try and break 4K today, right? And let them break it and turn around. I tell you what, though, that was like really fortuitous for the Bitcoin guys, because if those options expired underwater, like if they closed below 3,000 today, they would have been so screwed. Is EB trading crazy? Well, they definitely sold it. I mean, there was a pretty good personal income number, right? What do you reckon is a good price to get in with GME? So I have been advocating you want to buy the dips and sell the rips, and that's the way that I've been trading it. That's how I was able to buy 80, sell 320, and buy 250 again. So here was the dips yesterday. Yeah, I almost got 100. Oh, I would have been so happy. Hey, 250 is fine. When we come up here, I guess this opening price of 350, 340 would be okay. But you know that when this opens, that this is just going to be a madhouse. So, the issue is that unless you have a really fast platform and stuff, it's going to be really hard to get a good price. So, yes, I saw that Bitcoin took off because of Elon Musk's tweets. That's okay. Maybe he was high again. No. Like, again, you guys, so when you see moves like this, here's the question you should be asking yourself. Where's the money going to come from? Okay. So if you guys all have positions, for it to continue coming up, other people are going to have to buy it after you. And by the way, the more people that buy, the less impact that their buys have. Okay, it kind of trails off on a square root function. Okay, so that means that it requires more and more people to continue the trajectory. And when you don't continue the trajectory, then people start to say, oh, it's slowing down, I'm going to get out, right? They take the profits. Then when those guys take the profits, their orders have more impact because they're signed the other way. So then you start getting this thing going the other way. Now, maybe if the big guy, he gets out at the top and, then you're left holding the bag. Something else that can happen is, so here the big guy gets in and then you guys all follow in after him. And then the big guy doesn't do anything, but because it slows down, you guys you bail and your impact is going to be higher. You're going to be left down, right? So then the big guy is going to say, oh, well, I need to get out. But maybe he doesn't realize what kind of impact they have on the market. So when he gets out, then you get like, right? That's how those sorts of things happen. Rumors are whispering even more and more that Elon Musk is Satoshi. Probably not. No, so I did take the short in MicroStrategy, but I say that because of Elon Musk that trade is canceled. Okay, it doesn't make sense. The difference between the bid and the offer on that is such that it doesn't make sense for me to even try to save it. But it was only like $100, so it's okay. Was it? I think it was only $100. Let me go check. Oh, that's not good. Hold on a second. It basically it killed my little window that I had that shows my positions. Okay. Okay. I have to add now. I'm down $100 on it. I can't remember if it was a $100 one or if it was like a. Well, anyways, point is that one's a loss. It's fine. we can come back and we can try shorting again later. You know, after the Elon Musk hype dies down. This is the same thing, like people buying up Dogecoin, like you realize that's a bubble, right? The GME is a bubble, right? It's just that with GME we have a place for the money to come from. There's shorts that have to cover, so we know that it's going to have to continue going up until the shorts get out, and we can sell into the shorts, and then it's gonna fall back down, right? It's a bubble. But when you got these things like Dogecoin in particular, right? There's only so many people that are going to get into that, and it'll keep going up until all of those people are in, and then that's the end. True, Dodge is a literal shitcoin to you. So, well, listen, you're talking to a guy that owns 17 million garlic coin or something. So I am totally long it. I bought 250. I would never go short something like that. Are you kidding me? Anybody that has gone short GME this week is a real idiot. Seriously, if you went short GME this week, you maybe just take a break and rethink your trading, because you're gonna have a hard time being successful making those kinds of calls. When Dodge pumps its alts season, well, I think that the alt season probably is coming into vogue, yeah. Do you think that they'll finally give Garlic Coin a look? No, they're not on many exchanges, unfortunately. We need to get Garlic on more exchanges. You get Garlic Coin on Coinbase, and then I'm a millionaire, right? Did you see the guy on Wall Street Bets who sold 0.11 GME for $2,600 yesterday because they needed a whole share? Wait, really? I don't think that it will drop below 200 again, but there's no way to really know that, Rocket Man. List it on Uniswap? Is that a thing? I mean, they've been trying to get it on different exchanges. I think they have it on 2. But the exchanges want money and nobody's willing to pay that. If you had him... Listen, Elon, if you want to do something productive... I'm just kidding. It would be a total waste of his money if he was to get in Garlic Coin. Is it listed on CoinGecko? Let's go and look at what the two are. Coin market cap. Garlic Coin. It's the Garlic Coin stream. All Garlic Coin, all that. No, I wish. Okay. They are on Fry Exchange and Cracks 24. Those are the two exchanges that they got. And a whole $12 was transacted today. Is it smart to short? I think that perhaps there may be a point at which shorting the S&P 500 might make sense, but we're going to have to watch the order flow, kind of wait. The moment it doesn't look like that this is a good short over here. She's going pretty strong, and the order book looks really imbalanced right now, so... People on Reddit have been saying to hold it, but they're the ones who sell it first. I don't think so. So the last short interest estimate that I saw was 69 million, but like I said, I don't know how accurate or up to date those are, so. Kaka, what do you mean short the index? You mean the S&P 500? Yeah, go short E-minis. The shirt suits me? Really? I don't wear this one too often because, I don't know, maybe Self-conscious about the chest hair. A rough day yesterday, huh? Maybe not, well, maybe not for you. Yeah, well, so it's I did good yesterday. I think I actually take that back. Well, you can't really see. It's things change in the aftermarket, so I can't really see my positions very well. But I believe I lost some on my sumo and I lost some on my rare earth resources, but then I made pretty good on the AG. The AG is looking really great. So yeah. Is Garlic Coin? No, Garlic Coin is its own blockchain. It's its own blockchain. The Financial Juice guys have their mic open. I can hear them talking to each other. Garlic Coin is on CoinGecko, but there's no contact address. Never wear white. No, I wear white all the time. Especially when it's summertime. My patriotic white shirt, that's my favorite shirt. And it makes me look bigger. They wear the black shirt. I look so tiny. Wait. Stay at a dude ranch? Maybe Win should start a travel channel. There you go. Travel with Winston and Winston's mom. And she can take the fare everywhere and it can like steal stuff from people or something. I don't know. I don't think they would do that. That would be bad. Don't do that. Shouldn't have said that. Anyways, so the E-mini taking off after this news pretty good. Oh. Okay. Let's see what happens if this guy is for real or if he's messing with us. If he's messing with us, if he's messing with us, then we can just whine and complain about spoofing, right? So I feel confident taking a short there in the 10-year because of that. Maybe great. Well, you should go on the Garlic Coin subreddit and tell people that. And see what they think. The thing is that they've worked to get on various exchanges. For instance, I think there was Coin Falcon. But then like those exchanges will go kaput and things like that. So it's like pointless. I mean, I think that this guy wants to get filled. That's why I'm trying to front run him. But there's like a real possibility that you get filled, and there's one of those sort of things, right? When you see it in the E-mini. So like right here, for instance, there's like 488 at 37.69. And that's kind of why they're backing off a little bit. Like if they go through that, this is a really good chance that it's going to go goodish. I don't know if they can reach it at the moment, but really, really good chance that it goes goodish. But the Treasuries, it's not such high probability. Why did you invest in it? Well, so I mined it all. I don't know what else to say. So in the beginning, I was mining it. Man, at like the first month of mining Garlic Coin was so crazy because you could mine a good number of Garlic Coins and people were taking them for $1. And I told everybody, this is not like, it is not worth this much. Like the cost of mining does not justify it for $1. Now it's undervalued compared to the cost of mining. I haven't mined it in a while just because, like, I don't know. I didn't want to use the electricity. I haven't mined anything in a while, in fact. I decided to save the video card. And I gave, I had 2 video cards and I gave one to the stepson. So, but I mined it all. It was like 17 million. I mined it, on a dedicated basis for like a year and a half. And then I had way more than I ever thought that I was ever going to be able to mine, like from all of my calculations and stuff. I got what I wanted, so I just stopped mining it. And I wrote the wallet key on a piece of paper, printed it out, and put it somewhere safe. And I just wait. And someday, hopefully, there will be the altcoin market that's just crazy enough that even Garlic Coin takes off, or maybe some enterprising individual that is has more free time than myself puts in some work to get them on better exchanges and make some applications that work with it and do some fun things with it, and we go. Now, with all that said, Garlic Coin has had some somewhat favorable price action lately. Okay, so look, somebody bought him big time. How big was that order? 3,000. Okay. Okay. So do you see how in the E-mini it would have been like, well, in fact they did do it. Like they went through them and they pushed through. I didn't see if it was like really aggressive, but they pushed through them, right? Treasuries, it's a little bit more difficult. So they bought into him, and then they put another big order on top of it. Now they're falling down. I'm liking this one. I'm really liking this one. Mistrust Productions says, Steve, it doesn't make music? Why not? Oh, what? I used a 1060. I used two 1060s mining for a year and a half. And that's how I acquired my Garlic Coin position. So from my perspective, I mean, I know it was electricity, but from my perspective, I acquired it for free. And it's worth like $70 right now, I think. And there's been some spikes lately. There's been some spikes where they were worth like 0.005 cents or whatever. Or no, 0.05 cents, yeah. When it was worth 0.05 cents, and it was like, whoa. Was worth, all of a sudden it was worth a few hundred. You know, it's like if anybody, like seriously, if you come into the Garlic Coin markets, the volume on it is so low that if you just bought $100 worth of Garlic Coin, you will have an impact, like a significant impact on the price. You could like bring it to a new local hall just with $100. It is turning into 100 ATR day. Well, it's really there. The thing is when we come back to the volume profile in the E-mini, if we may. Yeah, we've done this. We've done this now 3 times. And now are we going to go back up there again? Well, maybe this one fizzles out early, but yeah, you've got like this whole area here that they could just do crazy stuff. Now, the interesting thing about this profile is that normally you wouldn't get anything in through here. You know, most of it would be like this. We're still in no man's land. Like they're just coming into the supply. Right? It looks like I am seeing some indications that this area is acting as supply as it did earlier at the beginning of the session. For instance, price turning down a little bit is the most significant pullback that we've had since this started running. There was that big order that we got. You know, it's kind of turning down. Well, and there you go. When it turned down hard. I don't like any of this. Buy GME or buy AMC? What's the best play? I would say GME, yeah. So the thing is that they're all saying, man, MSTR is like up big time in the pre-market. They're all saying that we need to focus our efforts, essentially. So what's happening is everybody is focusing on GME. When the GME thing has played out and the shorts have puked, then they will probably turn their attention to AMC next. AMC is probably the next one on the list. And then you've still got BlackBerry, Bed Bath & Beyond, and a whole slew of other names. Probably by that point, though, some of these other names will have just given up. I mean, if I was a short, I would be like panic covering any of those right now, right? Also, you've got to keep in mind that GME is a particularly special case. The percentage short is higher than the float. How does that happen? Well, you borrow shares, you go short, and then apparently there's a situation where that share can get shorted again, and then you end up with the float, with a short up larger than the float. What do you do about that? Everybody else buys it up. You're going to have to buy it. You're not going to be able to buy enough to cover all of your short positions. It's not possible. It may be the case that GameStop is going to have to come in and do a share offering. They're going to have to come in and say, okay, we'll sell you shares at $1,000 a share. And then that could be the end. Well, what they did was not necessarily illegal. It should be illegal, but I don't think that you should be able to short a share that was already shorted. But it shouldn't be able to get higher than 100%. But as the law stands right now, my understanding is that there's nothing illegal about it. We're not going to see this GME situation replicated on any other stock anywhere to near the same extent. Correct. But these other names like AMC, Bed Bath & Beyond, BlackBerry, etc., 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 still have pretty high amounts of short interest that have not covered. So there probably could still be some fuel left in those. And then, like I said, then the attention changes to silver. So one of the positions I've got on here. Oh, is it not on here? Yeah, or you're gonna have to. Okay, so we'll just put it over here. Is AG. AG. So do you see what's going on here in AG? Big old rise yesterday. So it was a big rise yesterday, and then in the regular session they came back down to like a normal price. And then they take off again in the overnight. Because I bought it way down here. So we'll see how that turns out. Oh, let's turn off the volume. You know what? I really don't like their volume distribution stuff in Fidelity. Oh, you know what else? There's something else we got to do. Well, so we got this right here. That's great. But I found something else. Directed trade and extended hours. Oh, can I hide that? I don't think it's a big deal, but I don't like it to show that. Hold on a second. How do I do this? There we go. So now I can see market depth here a little bit, right? So we can actually see that there's some offers around 348, but look at the imbalance on the book, and look at these big guys at 350. Oh no, wait, those are all asks, aren't they? Oh, these are bids and these are asks. Wait, how is that if they're going through it? 48? Oh, okay. Maybe this is not all the way over. Yes, there we go. Okay. These are bids, these are asks. So, okay. Okay, well. You would like to see like a wall somewhere. There's the wall, 345. but it's not that many shares. This is where it gets kind of crazy, is like you start looking at it and you realize like, wow, anybody can move this market because it's so thin. Maybe you only move it like a cent, but anybody can move this market. Are you in long at 67? I don't know about that one, Ace. I kind of feel like we missed the party. It's funny to think that this will be written about in text point. I know, right? Well, that's what I was saying the other day. There was a TikTok, was commenting on another TikTok creator's video, because they're like, why, you can go and you can buy any stock. Why would you buy GME? They're not in on the GME thing. Apparently they tried playing it and got burned a little bit, but they're just not in on the GME meme. And I'm like, imagine sitting on the greatest trade in history. You know what I mean? Like, this is literally the greatest trade in history. Up until this point, I can't think of another move that is bigger than this. And I even if you say that you lost money on it, don't you want to be able to tell your grandkids that you were there and you were involved when the GME stock took off? You know what I mean? Okay, just to take the point, yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's going to turn back down. It kind of looks like they might try and turn back down. The issue is in the E-mini right now, like my perspective and kind of my play, because we've had this happen to us a couple of days now, right? Where we're getting good trend, and then all of a sudden GME starts taking off and the indexes sell off. So, and I was trying to buy the dip, which was okay, but wasn't really the better trade. So today, tactically, I'm thinking, no, I would much rather find that point and go with the momentum when they're trading down. Theoretical take profit, maybe 1,000, but there's no way to know where it's going to go at this point. If expiration of options are today, would it happen by close of business? If so, wouldn't that mean the spike will occur after hours? Not necessarily. So, I believe that in order to have like the number of shares short and all of that sort of stuff, it's not just options, right? They're shorting the actual shares. So even though there's definitely going to be a fight to try and get the stock price as high or as low as possible for their larger options positions. If we have a big day, unless they like actually reach $1,000 today, I think that it continues into next week. Now, for me, I'm gonna have to play it by ear. I really don't like holding like a real trade. Like this AG thing. I think that they're going to be coming into AG, so I guess that's kind of a trade. But that's a trade that I think we should be able to hold until February. If not, turn around and take another expiration on it. So, you get what I'm saying? Whereas with the GME, I feel like this one is this week or maybe the next 2 weeks. So I'm a little hesitant to hold it over the weekend. I feel like maybe crazy stuff might happen. Well, crazy stuff might happen over the weekend, might push it up. We'll see. We'll see what they do when they open. We're really going to have to see what the demand is like, right? Your GMEs are trading at Frankfurt. Would you recommend me switching to NYSE? I don't know about that. I've never dealt with that before. I don't really know a whole lot about the things that you have to deal with trading in Europe. Certainly, you're going to have a lot more liquidity and action if you send the shares over to the NYSE. Well, since that big order came through, the E-minis have been pretty stuck. What? Oh, so I'm missing some. I'm missing a lot of comments. I apologize. What is the Palantir situation? People talked about it and never did anything. Well, so I don't think that that one is a short covering rally per se. I think that that one is just like a crowd is following, because wasn't it like Warren Buffett got in that one? So yeah, it's a little it's a what we're having right now in GME makes me so happy, because we're seeing a large number of people learn about markets, and I mean really learning about markets, like trading in it and understanding what a short squeeze is, and understanding that news moves the stock, because when they shut down shares of it like that, that was news. It moved it, and it's moved on. People like Elon Musk saying something moves it, but then positioning moves it, and that's trading. That's trading. Never do that again. You need to see the. Yeah, I needed to fix my contact there. It was bothering me. But big but, you guys are learning all of those lessons for sure. I feel like I'm teaching you at least the way that I say things. I'm not going to say that it's like everything is correct in the best way or anything, but I do feel like that I'm giving you some good information that most people don't have. But it seems to me now at this point, when you look at the Dogecoin thing, because all of these people are pushing the Dogecoin thing. Now, I'm starting to see people I'm starting to see Dogecoin on social media. Elon Musk is pushing Bitcoin social media. People are starting to push stocks that aren't just shorts. Okay, so like silver is one. Now, I'm okay with silver because I think that silver is undervalued, and that like the fundamentals and everything else for silver and gold look pretty good. So I'm okay with that one. Okay. But like with Dodge, for instance, people seem to think that the strategy here is to just get a bunch of people to buy a thing, and it will go up. Okay? That's wrong. That's wrong. Why is that wrong? Because you as a group have an aggregate impact on the market as you're buying, yes. But what you haven't seen yet is that you have an aggregate impact on the market when you're selling too. And when you sell right after you had a big buy, your aggregate impact will be greater on the sell side than it was when it was a buy, which means that something like 80% of you lose money on that move. We can get away with it in GameStop because there is some really big guy that's going to lose some money, and there's nothing he can do about it. But if there was nobody like that, you're not squeezing anybody out, where's the money going to come from? It's going to come from you guys. And the people that are able to pick the top and get out, and maybe it's just luck, they're going to make money. That 20% that get out up there are going to make money, and the other 80% are going to lose. Right? So I will repeat something that I have repeated many times, and I'm going to make a video about this, but I'm going to wait until it's warm in the spring and everything. But there is a lie. There is the great lie of day trading. This is the largest, most pervasive, and damaging lie in day trading, and it is this, that the way to make money is to follow other people. That is wrong. The way to make money is to make your own decisions and then wait for the crowd to follow you. It is the exact opposite. So if you're doing something like Warren Buffett bought this thing or Elon Musk bought this thing, he's really smart. Yeah, but if you all buy in, and then he's just going to sell into you, right? You got to do your own thing. You got to get in first, right? It's like, geez, guys, if it's going up like this, You buy here, you sell here. Great. It's going to do this. Okay. What happens if you're following everybody else? You're not really, fast, and you end up buying right here. What is likely to happen to you, right? You're going to lose money. You're going to lose money. You bought CD Projekt Red before. Is CD Projekt Red been going up? Because I was thinking like, a couple months, let's let the drama die down. And then I think that they're still a good developer, and that what happened to them happens to anybody, and that the stock may still be good, and that maybe their next game will be great. And that probably they'll fix the problems with Cyberpunk, and that people will like the game in the end. Anyways, you distracted me. Guys, don't follow other people. If you failed the marshmallow test, you should not be trading. Do you think there will be another short ladder attack today similar to yesterday? Well, so first of all, I can't necessarily say that what we were seeing yesterday was a short ladder attack. One thing that I will mention is that when we were going down towards those lows, and it was like, almost $100 on GameStop, and what happened? Did you see this thing where the guy's position that was something like $40,000 or something got liquidated by Robinhood early? Well, it was a margin account, so they can do that for you. But I think that move down there was probably margin calls. And it appears that the reason Robinhood had to shut down trading was because they didn't have enough liquidity. They couldn't cover all of the margin that you guys are using. Which means that you should just buy it with cash, I guess, or call options. So this, I guess what I'm trying to say is this: maybe there was a short ladder attack, whatever they're calling this thing. Where's the proof of that? Have you seen anybody on Wall Street Bets or TikTok or any of these people shown you conclusive proof that that's what was happening? Have you seen somebody go in and actually calculate which orders were buys and which orders were sells, and look at the cumulative delta and look at what the order book was doing to show that it was actually a short ladder? Or is it the case that there just wasn't a whole lot of trade yesterday compared to what we've had because Robinhood was cut off? You didn't have the noise traders, which is necessary for a functioning market. The market makers weren't willing to hold liquidity because it's moving around so crazy. And so it didn't take very many orders at all. And so even just one big position selling out could move it all the way down. I don't have the data to see that. And the truth is that all these people saying it's a short ladder and stuff, they don't have the data to say that either. I don't think that you could consider it manipulation, because they probably do believe it. I'm just saying, as far as I can tell, the reason they believe it is because that's the most convenient excuse to explain why we were down yesterday, and to tell people to hold. Why did it spike again? Well, so let's come back over here and see what we were talking about. So it didn't spike up to 500. It went to about 300. And I think that one was just like the overextension. Again, remember, when you have a big meta order and then you have a big meta order the other direction that is of equal size, it will end up lower. Okay? Remember that. Every time that you hear these price action guys and they're seeing this sort of thing and they're like, oh, this one, and then this is lower, that must mean that there's more sellers than buyers. So maybe the trend has changed. And no, that's not what it means at all. Like, that means that these guys bought, they sold, their aggregate impact will bring it lower overall. And actually, the number of people in at this particular point is the same. So it is actually likely to continue doing this rather than to do this. Justin's son is buying GME. It's over, guys. I don't know who that is. Oh, man. Right. This overnight was just, that's what it should have done. And then it fell down because they stopped trading in shares. And then this move overnight that we had almost up to 450 was because Robinhood came out and said that they're going to allow you to buy shares again, but only with limit orders, apparently. That's an important distinction, I suppose. Are we getting, so sometimes you'll get these spike sort of candles, and my understanding is that those are like over-the-counter trades that are being reported to the market, and it's why you'll get, it's like one trade is like really far away from the market, and that's it. That's another thing where I've seen people saying stuff on Wall Street bets, and it's like nobody knows what's actually going on. Oh, Tron. Oh, he's the creator of Tron Coin. Okay. The most trustworthy of coin. It's frustrating to me because they want the bubble to be in Bitcoin, and I'm just like, okay, guys, like, you're going to lose your shirts at some point, but just make it difficult for me so that I can't take my short. It's fine. It's really hard to make money on shorting something. Listen, the bull wins. The bull wins. The bear is, listen, it's like the dark side of the force, right? The short side of the market, it's enticing. It appears more powerful because when the sell comes in, man, it just smacks things down, and it's like you make a ton of money in 30 minutes. Whereas on the long, it's like a slow and steady game. You have to hold forever, and yada 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 yada, right? But it is not. The dark side of the force is not more powerful than the light side of the force, because with the light side of the force, you can become a force ghost, right? So it's better to be the bull. But you've got to be able to be both, really. If you want to be a successful trader, you're going to have to be able to play both sides. And you're going to have to be able to play trending market and range bound market. Well, so I'm just looking here in the 10-year. A lot is traded at 30.5 because of those big orders. You can see it's not really going anywhere. It doesn't look to me like it's necessarily because like they're stuck or anything. Is just there's a shortage of liquidity there in that spot because of the large orders, and is just kind of stuck there. So we'll see where they're able to go. It'll be difficult for them to get back up above. I wonder if those big orders will come back or hold it down. But there's a decent amount of liquidity in the 10-year right now. That are putting 6Ks on each side. I would say that is slightly above average. It's not crazy. When we had some days where it was crazy, where it was like 8, 10K at every level. That's the highest that we've ever seen. Usually we're around 4 to 5. So there is a little bit more liquidity in the 10-year today, and we should take note of that. And that's a little unusual that it would be on a Friday in particular that we would get that. E-mini's taking a little bit of a sell there. They're still kind of rotating around the center point, though. What did our robots do? Ooh. Yeah. It looks like a lot of our robots tried going long around 63 or so, and didn't really do well on it. And they took losses on these. Oh, that's interesting. Now, J. Well, now that's interesting. How many trades did J take? I made some changes to J. Oh, he's taken a lot of trades. And his trades in the micros have worked out. Well, he took 14 in the micros. How many did he take in the ES? Oh, it's about the same. So for that, they caught more of these short trades. Well, that's kind of interesting. It's also interesting that they did so well on so many of those. That kind of suggests one of the things is that I haven't put any filtering on it. You know, what if I put the filtering on it and it would only take the long trades because the HMA or whatever might that result on today at least suggests that it could dramatically improve the strategy. Now Ace is short. Is he at like 37.64? Is AMD down over 7% this week? Did not know that. I'm not quite sure why. I have to look at that. I mean, there are things going on. I mean, there's like earnings, there's like some new products being released. Maybe their 5th generation CPUs aren't as, like the Threadrippers aren't as great as they thought. I don't know. I really want a Threadripper. I gotta get a Threadripper. Oh, there you go. AMD CPUs are so good, yeah. I would really like to do a test because for day trading, the AMD is generally going to be better because you get more cores. That's definitely true, and you've got so much going on. For back testing, you would think that having more cores matters, but it may be the case that the instruction efficiency of the Intel would give it an edge in cases where you're doing tick replay, because I don't think that tick replay can be split across multiple threads. So in that case, for the specific thing that I'm doing, the Intel may be faster. I really wish that I could do a shootout and we could see, but I don't have that much. What is your realistic CPU usage? Well, yeah, I can show it to you. So I use a lot of CPU. So I used to do the encoding on the CPU, but then these markets got really crazy and it wasn't working out. So right now I'm usually between 40 and 60%. But when I was encoding on the GPU or on the CPU, it was like 80%. But I have pretty old CPU. I mean, it still seems like fast and really good to me, but 1700X is like really old now. We're like 3 generations past that. Hold on, I'm gonna let you guys stare at this for a little bit. I gotta blow my nose. All right, sorry about that. I had to really clean my nose. I was really starting to itch. Oh, hey, they took 29.5. Now, this is an interesting one right here because remember I said, well, it doesn't look like there's anything special. Like, you see all of this volume. This is something I'm really learning. I think I need to learn more about it. I think I really need to go more into the math of this. But you think, oh, all of this volume traded here, that's balance. And the reason that it traded there is because they agreed on what price was. I don't believe that that's the case anymore. Sometimes those happen because there's actually a shortage of liquidity. And there's people that want to buy down here, and there's people that want to buy up here. There's not really a balance, but they can't overcome the low liquidity area. Because look, when they came out, it traded here really easily. It didn't take a lot of contracts for them to move it. Should use yellow. These two right here. It didn't take a ton of contracts to move it, did it? I'm guessing not air. You can get or are you talking to air cages? Is it true that you need a 10K super? No, I have a video exactly about that shows you how you can get a reasonable computer hardware for less than $1,000. And honestly, if all you're going to do is day trade with it and you're not going to back test or play games or anything, I wouldn't recommend spending more than $1,000 on a machine. I would recommend you building it yourself. That you'll get a lot better bang for your buck if you build it yourself. And it's actually not as difficult as you think. I think that if you are smart enough to figure out day trading and order flow, that you should be able to figure out how to build your own PC, and you should try it. There's lots of videos online about how to do it. Okay, well, GME here, pre-market, taken off. Specifically for trading, do you need a decent GPU? If not, you can spend well under $1,000. Yeah, you don't need a decent. You could get a 1050 Ti, a 1650 Ti, like the lowest end current generation GPU, and be just fine. The issue with the GPU is if you want a new GPU, you really have to pay for it these days. I think that will die down after the summer. I mean, the supply was a little bit constrained because of the pandemic and because so many people wanted to get them. But when the next batch is done and everything else, they should come down in price considerably. And then you're right. That's like a good $100, $200 that you can maybe skip out on. Or you could just try and get an old one. Like if you got something that is before a 10 series, like if you got like a 950, people probably would just pay you to take that off their hands. Yep, there you go. Win with the link. Trading computer hardware, what really matters. She's so good at this, guys. This is why I want you to get in Discord, because then I can see your messages. I mean, you would still chat in YouTube chat, but you could also chat in Discord, and I would specifically see those. And we could even put you in on voice so that you could interrupt me and remind us about stuff, or tell me to stop being stupid. That would be great because you're so good at this. Here comes the evil SEC looking for your Wall Street bad starts. You know what is so funny about all of that is we talk about market manipulation. But what is market manipulation? Well, the key thing, there's two forms of market manipulation as defined by the United States that they look for. Okay, the first is if you run around and you say something that you know is materially false and you use that to try and coerce people into taking trades, that is market manipulation. That is quintessential market manipulation. So if you come around and you say, oh, don't participate in Wall Street bets because the SEC is going to come for you, when you know that that's not what the law is and that that's not what's going to happen, is that market manipulation? Kind of seems to me like it could be considered market manipulation, although it's subtle enough that you would maybe never get caught. The other way that you can do market manipulation is if you fake order flow. So one way, that's why, for instance, spoofing, that's market manipulation. You're putting a big order out there and making the market think that there's a bunch of supply or demand somewhere when there's really not, because you're just going to cancel the order. Or you could do something like you could just trade against your buddy so that you know that the trades are all break even, but it creates a ton of volume and retail traders see that volume and they want to go and trade it because of the volume. That's market manipulation. Running around and saying, hey guys, let's all buy this thing because we like it. And when we all concentrate our power, that has an aggregate impact on the price. That is not illegal. That is literally how trading works. And the thing that I keep trying to caution you guys about, I know it seems like it all comes back to that. It's probably because I learned a lot about this stuff recently, and so it's just really fresh in my mind. But you have an aggregate impact when you buy and when you sell. And the retail traders have seen that you have an aggregate impact together when you buy. You haven't seen the sell yet. Be careful. Oh, you have a birthday in the house, Ace? Really? Love market manipulation. I donated so much money to hedge funds back in the day. I wouldn't have known what to do with the money anyways. All I'm saying is the government is looking into the trades, that's all. Well, yeah, I'm sure that the government is going to look into every materially false statement that was ever made on the Wall Street Bets subreddit. And if they find out that the person that is saying that stuff knows better, then they're going to hit them. Because I am seeing things on Wall Street Bets that is like materially false. Like to come in and say that Citadel told Robinhood to cancel things. Now there's this suggestion that Citadel added shorts. That's not confirmed, and I spread that one, but it's not confirmed. But I don't know. So that's, you have to know that it's false for that to be market manipulation. But I do kind of wonder, some of these people, some of these comments I see on Wall Street Bets, they're all going in on a conspiracy theory that doesn't really match up with what is most likely to be the case. Maybe some of those people will get hit by regulators, yeah. I can't wait for GME to halt 100 times a day. I know, right? Well, we got some okay downside on the Treasury, but like it didn't coerce people into making more trades off of it, so... Okay, so here's the open, and there was already a little bit of selling into it. Oh my. Okay. See what they do. It does kind of look like that it's aggregate sell on the open though. And GME is just running. GME is just running. Okay. So buyers hitting back, but they're not getting much in cumulative delta. That's very curious. So let's see what the sellers do with their second attempt. Okay, new lows. It's not a ton, but it is new lows. People keep talking about Red Hot by Interactive Brokers. One's the one that disgusted me the most. Well, like I said, guys, like they get exposure to this. Like, do you guys remember when oil went negative last year or earlier in the year or whatever last year? Because it's 2021 now, huh? And there was some people that had like really big margin bets placed on oil, and they lost more money than they had in their account, and they couldn't pay it. And the brokers had to pay for it. Right? Like the broker can lose money off of this, and they have like financial and regulatory obligations. And so I don't think that it's a terrible idea when you realize that you have too much exposure to rein things back. And hey, if it give them a day to kind of like sort things out, then I think that in the end it's the right decision, even though it's going to piss everybody off. But the better thing would just be to not give them that much margin in the first place, and to manage it well like Fidelity does, so that you don't have to shut that down. Okay, so GME had a good spike up to 400, and now it's kind of back to where it's been for most of the night. E-mini selling pretty good here. We'll just throw that out there just in case. I could potentially, so I see kind of two spots. There's this first one that's so close that I think there will be some volume here, but that eventually they will break it. And then below that, I see 37.33. If you cannot handle volume as a trading platform, well, it's not volume, it's margin. It was the amount of margin that people were taking out. So see, what's happening is these people are saying, oh, I have a margin account. I know that if this trade doesn't work out, that it's going to completely blow my account and that I'm going to owe them money, but I don't care. And people have been doing that for a long time on Red Hat. Remember the infinite money thing? That was really kind of how all this crap started, was that the infinite money options play. But it's the margin. Yeah, GME did get halted for sure. Why do I not get? Okay, so we need to come in here and move this so that we get the volume and also the day range, because I want the day range closer. Okay. So now you can see when the volume stops on GME. And by the way, once it halted, the E-mini kind of stopped and turned a little bit. Note though that it was like a big buy and then a big sell. So funny that because of how that worked, that the big sell was the thing that ended up stopping it. Okay. Well, the ATR, the average true range over here in the ES is pretty big. I am lucky that I caught that the way that I did. I can hopefully let this ride. Why does the stock get halted? If there is a certain percentage move within a 5-minute time period, then they will halt the stock. It used to be that it was like if it was up 10% on the day, then they would halt it, but they changed that to be a more temporary one, so that, if a stock is up big, opens up big, it's not like stopped for the rest of the day and it can't go any further. They want to allow the market to move, but still force people to wait. But I think in this case with GME, I don't think it helps anybody, does it? Okay, so that was a lower low. There wasn't like a huge increase in shorts on that last rush, but it may not be done. There could be some stops down here. We'll see if we get our fill. I'm just going to leave that fill there. 100 is fine. In fact, I might just take it off at 46. There is a little bit of balance there. Okay, so there's another low. Well, there wasn't a whole lot of stops in the ES, but there was definitely stops in the MES. There we go. Good trade. So I think I can just relax over on the treasuries. Oh, and did I get stopped out of my... Yeah, that makes sense. So I kind of treat my micros and my ES as like separate accounts, and my treasury trades I don't take as seriously because I'm not trading the futures on a live account right now because I haven't been doing very well. But when I start going again, I won't be trading the treasuries. There's just not a lot of opportunity in treasuries, and I've been having a hard time. I thought that trade was pretty good. I did get 3 favorable ticks. I got a great entry. It just didn't turn out. So I would say the entry was good. The trade management on that was not good. And the E-mini turning down, I was so focused on getting the short in the E-mini, I should have been thinking, oh, maybe the treasuries will actually move up. Okay, so GME is going again. Their first impulse is short here again. I'm going to try and pull out the directed trade here. Okay. So there are a lot of bids out there. Wow. Those are some big offers too. It's changing around. Okay, I would say that the volume. Okay, so we can close this. That's not what I needed to see. The volume is okay. 7 million shares so far, especially since it was like halted and everything. Oh, what is the VIX? The VIX is up 33.01 right now, up $2. The number of posts on Wall Street Bets saying to hold the stock is incredible. It's like a silent word. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They're gonna try and stop out margin positions, though. It looks like. Looks like REEMF down again. That might do a thing where like this may continue and even do that, and then okay, now we can come in down here and look at this. Okay, so GS down, looking pretty good on my oh wait, okay, there's AG. So I'm up on that one. I'm up on, oh, that's really good. So I'm down on my MSTRs. Okay, it was more than 100. But it's okay. I can handle that. We're up pretty good today. I think that cancels out all of yesterday's losses, in fact. So I'm happy about that. Okay, cool. Well, so now it's just all about that GME, huh? I've made the statement before, Wall Street Bet Sawyers, you're only fighting new players. Melvin is out of their short. Well, I mean, I don't think that Melvin has. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot. There was Citron was live streamed like at the top of the hour. What did they say? Trump will be actively involved in Republican politics and is not interested in a third party, says former advisor. Okay. Oh. Citron Research discontinues short selling research. After 20 years of publishing, Citron will no longer publish short reports. We will focus on giving long side multi-bagger opportunities for individual investors. Cool. Okay. Do you think the VIX hits 40? I'm the wrong person to ask that question. Where's Gary? We need Gary. Gary can tell you where the VIX is going, man. He's made some pretty good calls on that for us. It does appear that there is a considerable amount of fear in the indexes here. Just look at the way that it trades. And when it's really furious, like they're fighting to sell, it's like, think about how I'm clicking on here, right? You notice sometimes I'm like, I'm ready to click, and then it kind of goes, and I'm like, oh crap, and I can't catch it, you know? And like look for that. And you'll see these spots where they're catching like these big guys on wrong positions, and so it's going and or like the stop runs and like the pace of it. You can just tell. It's like when the E-mini turns risk off, it's like it gets angry. It gets angry, and the tape just goes all over the place, and it's so much more volatile on the downside. And you can see that going on here. And every time that GME starts ticking up, it gets worse. So, could the VIX increase here? Yeah. Will it increase to, you want 40? Well, 40 feels like an awful long ways away, but it could happen. Buying GME around 80 and holding through the weekend might be yeah, sure. Do you use Ortex? I'm not familiar with them. Isn't that who? No, that's somebody else. No, I don't know who that is. Jigsaw made a blog about, are short sellers evil or not? They're not. It's just the way that those particular short sellers went about it. Like in the case of GameStop, for instance, it's like you got your trade. Why aren't you covering? The lesson here is not Wall Street is manipulating the system. The lesson here is you need a better broker, preferably one that doesn't sell your order flow and shut down your trading and keep your short rebates and keep your cash interest. But hey, free trades. I don't know what's coming in through here on the volume, but like the buyers are trying to hold it out. Like, I don't think that anybody's selling. Looks like Reddit is having connection issues. Thoughts on TWTR chart? Well, so I don't know. I like to say a lot of things about charts, right? Just be aware when I look at that I'm only using the chart to try and understand what has happened, and I don't believe that the chart is very good at predicting the future, okay? And especially when it comes to stocks, you really want some sort of a fundamental basis behind you too. Like a good trade thesis. So in Twitter, I'm not a fan of Twitter. I think that a lot of the stuff that has happened recently with like the free speech and the moves that Twitter has made, I don't feel very confident in their management to get through this correctly. I think that Facebook is doing it. So Facebook said, "Oh, we'll make a court, and people can what is the word? You can try to get the decision repealed through Facebook court." And they did the court, and the court made the right decision on a bunch of these cases. And I think that's the way that it should work. But Twitter is just like, we're just gonna ban anybody that's even reasonably right wing. And more so to the fact with Donald Trump not on the platform anymore, like what is the real reason to get in on Twitter? Like I have a reason to be on Twitter because there's like news squawks and I get news through it, but I don't think that the average person really has much reason to get involved on Twitter because like they're just going to tweet stuff and nobody hears it. So I'm not a fan of Twitter at all. Ortex is a financial information hub, and they're predicting short interest is at 56 million shares right now. Well, I don't know about that. I have to confirm that. Do you have, well, let's see here. We can search. Ortex. So I can't look at it directly because you have to log in. So you would have to, somebody would have to show us what Ortex is reporting. But I don't think that you can get like a minute by minute reporting of shorts. So now I expected the stock to really try and just push up and get halted. That didn't happen, but you buy the dip, right? And it looks like that's working out so far. They report an estimate every morning at 7:30. I voted for Trump. I don't vote for Democrats, sorry. Not going to say that Donald Trump is like the greatest president ever. I kind of knew he was going to lose. Yeah, you want to go back and watch my streams going back through all that. You can kind of see the progression when I realized that seniors just didn't like Donald Trump's messaging on the coronavirus, and he was unwilling to change it because he was so concerned about coronavirus hurting his election. It's really quite sad because I think that as a politician that a crisis like that would be like a gift. And I get the whole thing with like the media doesn't treat Donald Trump fairly and everything, but even if they don't treat you fairly, like you could use this to your advantage. All you have to do is say you're really concerned all the time. This virus thing, it's really hard. We're really concerned. We want to make sure everybody's healthy. We're doing everything we can, and just talk and play it up. And yeah, even play the fear factor and let people be afraid of it, even if you think it's going to hurt the economy, and because there's nothing you could do to stop it, right? So this whole thing of him fighting against it and trying to keep the economy afloat and everything is kind of like, no, don't shut things down, but like just continue to say the thing that they want to hear to make them feel okay. And he would have won. But because he refused to do that, he lost. And it was around the beginning of October when I realized that looking at the metrics and everything, even if you assumed a certain error in polling, that he was just going to lose because of that issue. I still voted for him. I'm really concerned about what Joe Biden's going to do. I was told there's no expiration of the short for Melvin. Have I been misled? Okay, so probably a lot of shares are short, and they're shares and not options. And so, yes, there's no expiration date on it. True. I'm going to say true. Some people are trying to say that it's out. Talking about the Ortex report. I haven't seen that. What was I? I just read something. GME block orders being processed. A 1 share odd lots. Something is about to break. Bigly says Zero Hedge. That was 3 minutes ago. Anyways, I'm hearing you guys say. Do you want me to? You can. If you send me a link or a screenshot on Discord. You can't post links in YouTube, but if you click the link to the Discord that's in the video description below, and you can message me, Seth, the admin on that Discord server, and you can show me the picture that way. So you're basically saying that Americans are dumb and need to hear what they want to make them feel comfortable? I'm saying that people in general are dumb and that they want to hear certain things, and that if you don't say those things, then they won't vote for you. Yes. Like think about it. Like the whole thing, it's kind of silly, but people do look to their president to be like sort of like a moral leader in times of crisis, sort of a thing, right? That's the way that herds are. We're facing a crisis. Leader comes along and says, this is what we're going to do. And it doesn't matter if it's a good idea or not. You all get behind it and you go. And the collective action of you together makes the thing happen. Makes the thing happen. That has been the case with GameStop here. It is their collective belief that we can squeeze the shorts out that has created this situation. And it is their unity that has allowed this to happen. And it's the same in politics. And so sometimes that means that maybe you don't want to say something, but that's what they need emotionally. And so you do it. What do you think about the two-party state? I love it. Yeah, so I don't think that America would be better if we adopted a more European model. I know that that will not make me popular, because there's definitely an issue where the two parties are kind of the same on a lot of issues. A lot of that is just because there are interests, because it's not just rich people. I mean, everybody has jobs and things like that. So there are certain industries that just are going to have power in the political system no matter what. And there's definitely a thing to where I don't think that the government has been doing what's in the best interest of all Americans. Okay. But I don't think that the European system is better. Not at all. Because all that happens in the European system is that all of the people that know what's going on and have the good ideas and want to, make sure that our democracy works efficiently, get split. And the socialists have more power. And that's why in Europe, it's that multi-party system that has allowed the socialist policies to have more power in Europe. And I don't think that those policies work as well. I think that you can look at all of the stats about growth and everything else. And I think that the American system is better despite some of its flaws. And furthermore, I don't think that it works as well when you have lots of fast, dramatic change. I think that if you're going to change something, that you have to prove it out. And I think that it's good that in the United States, going back to the beginning founding of this country, largely because of the Senate, that it's really difficult to make significant changes. And usually that's a good thing. And I think that right now, in particular, that's a good thing, because some of the things that people wanted to do would be really bad if we implemented, and you might not be able to turn back from. So that's my politics, but it does kind of apply to the markets, right? Because the markets like the gridlock, right? Because they know that if either the right or the left was able to take complete control, that they would probably implement some policies that wouldn't necessarily be the best thing for the country. Yeah, I found your channel. Your voice is so soothing and calm. Well, thank you. I don't think there's anything special about my voice. It's all the microphone. His microphones are wonderful. My voice is getting a little low today. I don't know why, but... How are we doing, by the way? Oh yeah, make sure you click that like button. It really helps the channel out. We really pushed it hard yesterday, and I think that worked well for us. I wouldn't expect to have as many viewers today because there's just so much competition for it now, but just added you on Discord. Will it not let me? So hold on a second. Oh, okay. All right. Now you should be able to send it.
Block cell.
I always wear shorts when I'm streaming. I 100% am wearing pants. Don't spread lies. This is market manipulation. Huh? That if when you're making materially false statements that you know to be untrue, air cages that could coerce people to make trades in stocks, that could cause problems. Nokia, there's still people on the Nokia train. I don't completely get back on the futures read. Well, I kind of took my profits in the futures. I don't know if I really want to touch them right now. Well, there was a pretty good pullback, and that was a pretty good sweep up there. They ran into some absorption, so that one's a little odd. So sometimes when you see a slip like that, you think informed trading, right? But the market makers actually clamp down on the top, so maybe they will turn back down here. You have no empirical. Yeah, I just showed you guys, huh? Well, so GME has been trading for a while here. I wouldn't say that the volume is super crazy, right? I guess people can buy, but they're not doing it with market orders, and that could be a problem. Okay. Wow. So are they going to recover all of this and go back up to the high of the day? Maybe they're doing that now though, because the guys over in the indexes believe that the GME thing isn't just going to take off. And so they're less concerned about hedging it now. But let's see, all it would take is the right move. Is it still not letting you send the picture, Betty's Walls? Betty's Walls. That's funny. I could find you over here. There you go. So you should be able to just post it in the lobby of the futures trading, dude. If you just go into the lobby of the future of the Discord server itself, you should be able to post the picture. I have to say though, you were saying that it was they were estimating 50. That means that it's still over 100%, right? Kind of makes you wonder, though, how they pulled that off. Well, maybe that was part of the buying from here. They covered over here. Okay, we are going to get some news here. Hold on a second. Oh, the Chicago PMI, that's what that was. Okay, I'm sorry. 63.8 versus 58.5. That's a really high reading for a PMI, 63. Wow. And here we're getting consumer sentiment final 79 versus an expected 79.2. Consumer expectations 74. Give me them inflation numbers. What do we get? 0.3. Oh, 3.0. Oh, what the squawk is telling me is different on here. I'm getting 2.7 versus 2.5. That could push the treasuries down. Okay, you posted it in Discord? Wait, I don't see it. Which channel did you post it in? Oh, I see it. Okay. There's days to cover. Well, so that sounds to me like they're saying that they're looking at options. Okay, but what is what? Because there's 3 lines there. Okay, the ones with dots is exchange reported short interest. And their line is estimated short interest. So that's interesting. So their estimated number does follow the exchange okay. And it does suggest that in the past 24 hours that a good $10 million worth of interest has covered. But that's still higher than the float, right? What is the float? The float is 46, so it's still higher than the float. Wow. Okay. So that's useful information, but I don't think that that's necessarily a reason to close it. Let's come back over here. It's not. There we go. Okay. Got them synced. Looks like they're going to push a new regular trading session low on GME. You're not a trader unless you... I guess I'll never be a trader if I have to smoke cigars. But how much float do retail traders take up? I don't know. It's a good question. Well, so when I look at GME, it doesn't look to me like there's just like the same amount of volume they use. So no, I mean, I guess AG is a much smaller stock, but you know, they're like trading equal amounts of volume. AMC is already to 152 million, which is interesting. I mean, I guess GME is still up 60% overnight, so... Let's just let it do its thing. Maybe it goes, maybe it doesn't. I'm not going to stress about it too much. I don't think Red Hat is really the problem. I think they're just a fall guy. I agree too. I think that you guys just used too much margin. And they probably did the right thing. But the mistake that Red Hat made, or sorry, Robinhood, the mistake that Robinhood made wasn't holding everybody back. The mistake was making a decision and then not clearly communicating to everybody why until late in the day. Like in the statement, they should have said why. They probably didn't say why because they didn't want there to become a further liquidity crisis. And they were probably, it was like if they said anything. But I think in this case, you have to tell them because it just like ruins the company now at that point, right? Okay, well, you got a hammer bar there. I think we need to zoom in even more. AG is looking okay. It's not as high as it was in the overnight, but it's going pretty okay. Same with MSTR, up 13%. Coming down significantly, but it's still a good day for them. I think Robinhood is ruined anyways. People are mad and they will leave. Yes. Yes, I think so. Their IPO is screwed. Their IPO is screwed for sure. Why is volume so much higher for AMC than GME? Feels like GME is getting all the buzz. Because AMC is worth like 1/10 of the cost per share. So if you were to, so here's how you would, if you really want to compare them, you would want to look at what is the monetary value of that volume. Now, I can't exactly compute that with the way that I'm doing, because really what you need to do is look at every transaction and calculate how much money it was. Okay. But we can still kind of just make a rough guess. So if we say 315, let's say, times 13 million, okay, is $4,095. $4,095,000,000. Okay, and then if we go over to AMC, and that is $12 times 158,608. Where'd it go? Okay, like that, and we get 190 million. So the amount of money being put to work in AMC is an order of magnitude higher. It's just that AMC has a smaller stock price, so people, when you go over here, it's like, oh, I want to put $100 into it. I can buy one contract of HE, and I can buy like 10 contracts of AMC. That's all. None of the app brokers told the whole story until it was public knowledge about the trading houses, the clearing houses. Yeah, well, I don't think it's that they are not allowed to discuss those details. Maybe not. But I think that there are risks with the public knowing, because you're out there basically seeking funding. And if the larger markets know how desperate you are, they're just going to try and squeeze you for it, right? So I think that might be why they were like that. Do you think hedge funds will invest differently after this mess? I think so. I don't think that short selling should go away, but you're certainly not going to take a short and then just like hold it on in there and try and crush the company into the ground. Because what was going on in this case was they got the short. Okay, it was a good trade. They were right. But then they were holding the short on them over their heads, basically trying to force the company into bankruptcy, and then, raiding the company from the bankruptcy. I don't think people are going to do that as much. They might still do short selling and stuff, but I don't think you try and hold it on and take the company to bankruptcy. No, people don't like that. Of course, there's going to be all sorts of interesting situations, but I tell you what, something that happens in the markets all the time, something that happens in markets, and if you're going to trade, you just got to keep this in mind, is that the things that worked in the past have a tendency to stop working. It's like once everybody kind of figures it out, it stops working. That's the nature of a competitive market. And it looks to me like a lot of the strategies that hedge funds were using are failing now because the general public has basically figured them out. I think that there's still some edge here, because I don't think that the retail traders understand how to calculate their real impact and how their impact changes as the number of people involved grows larger. And I don't think that they understand how the impact increases when you get a sign change and you have an equal amount of volume going the other direction. No such thing as free money. There you go. The majority of hedge funds lose money? Really? Oh, it actually wouldn't surprise me. I mean, like, a really good hedge fund makes 20. This is the thing that's always crazy, is everybody's like, oh, I heard this one guy saying, my mentor challenged me to take this $1,000 account and turn it into $100,000 by the end of the year. And I'm like, yeah, right. That's not gonna happen, dude. Like, for a large hedge fund, 20% is really good. Now, if you're a small fry, then you can. All you got to do is catch like one big winner and everything. But it's still, what you're talking about is really unlikely. It was fun while it lasted. Time to get back to reality and buy real assets like Bitcoin. I don't think that all of the holds are off. So I think it looks to me like the red hat, or everybody calls it RH, so I keep wanting to say red hat. Seems to me like the Robinhood users can buy on limit, but that's only enough to support price and that it's not pushing price. That's what it looks like. Let's see if Zero Hedge has anything this morning. Cash-strapped Robinhood scrambles to raise $1 billion from the rich. Yeah, good luck with that. Highly shorted stock slammed as Wall Street Bets website goes down for some. And SEC said something. That crypto restricted on Robinhood. That's funny. Thoughts on EXPR? It's another one of those short plays. I don't know where it's going to go or if it's going to continue, but I like shopping there. The hedge funds take a while to make a trade because of filling. The retail trader can make it. Yeah, exactly. But you've got to it's not just filling, it's impact. They could come in and probably buy everything on the limit book, but their impact would be so much that they wouldn't be able to make money on the trade. Basically, the execution impact is a drag on your trade. We think the way that we think about it is retail traders is essentially wrong. We think, oh, you go in and you have an impact and that's good. And that means that you can push the trade to continue in your direction. And then everybody sees that and they follow your trade and they go up. Well, yeah, but you do that move, your average position is somewhere right here, right? Well, what's going to happen is when you sell, you're going to have an aggregate impact too, and it's going to go like this. And then your average sell is something like right there, right? So you lose money. If all you're doing is just pushing the market with your trades and there isn't any kind of like fundamental reason for other people to join, like later on another person will realize that the stock is also good and also buy it and then it will go up. If that doesn't happen, you're going to lose money. If it's just like the rest of the market stays the same and you buy it and then you sell it, you're going to lose money. So that impact, we think of it as a good thing, but it is a drag on your trade. That's why the big institutions spend so much time and effort, and I really mean a lot of time and effort, trying to reduce the impact of their trades. They know how to time it so that the long memory of the market has died down the most that it's going to do so that you can buy in again and reduce your impact. And they split the orders so that you can't see it. They make it difficult for you to see what's going on. Now you're tired of GME? Not until the options expire, Greg. Come on. And then we got this AG thing. Maybe. We'll see if AG goes up. Now, I just don't like the trades in the ES right now. I'm keeping an eye on it. If I see it do something good, then we'll go through. But diamond hands turn out to be cubic zirconia. Man, you guys are all like, oh, it's not. It didn't like immediately shoot up to $1,000. It's all over, guys. I don't think that anybody's going to cover. I really started losing my mind last night, so I had to sell this morning. How much money did you have in, man? Oh, you got 19 to 24, really? See, I really should have been paying attention on that Treasury trading on. I mean, it was an okay trade. It was just, I don't know. The Treasury still looks like they want to be pointed down. Which is kind of curious, but end of month action and all of that in treasuries. We're definitely getting more volatility in treasuries these days. That's good. It's back to the point where like I can make trades on it, but it's like it's super hard. This isn't about anything but money and greed for retail at this point. Well, sure. I mean, there's still over 100% shorts, right? You treasury guys kill me. Why? Because they made money? He made money? Because 19 to 24 is a great trade? Now I'm telling you, well, they should be careful. You don't want to be the backholder, that's true. Here's the thing that I find interesting. You're telling me that 10 million shares covered yesterday? How did they do that? I can't see the order flow, I guess, but it doesn't look like there was like tons of crazy people selling or anything. What is the yield on a 10-year treasury? It's a little bit more than 1% right now, I believe. I take that back. It's hard for me to, I don't get the direct data for that on a tick by tick basis. Let's see if I can find it on Fidelity. A quote, or no, let's just find a symbol. It's going to be, maybe bonds and fixing church for treasury auctions. No, that's not it. Maybe it will be in indexes. US 10-year. Okay. It only gave me 2. Didn't give me the 10-year. It gives me the 5 and the 30, but not the 10. Why? Well, we can do TYX, I guess, but I wonder if I come into like news and research and I go to fixed income, and maybe on that page they will have like, there you go, bonds, US Treasury, 10-year, 1.08. Total bonds found. Now I don't know what the difference between these are. Doesn't look. Maybe there's just not an index for the 10-year yield. E-mini looks like they want to go for that high of the day. Well, I guess not. So we're getting a pretty interesting triangle here. There was that little breakout there. I think that was just like a block trade or some, what do we call those? An OTC trade bit that was being reported back. So don't know if that tells us anything. Oh, we should come back to Twitter. Vaccine program in Netherlands faces worrying delays due to supply issues. Oh, you know what? By the way, that reminds me. I need to go to, I got another affiliate link that I want to put in the video description for Financial Juice. How should we put this in here? Apparently, I don't know how to spell affiliate. Now, when I come over here, should I put it all one word? I don't think it matters. I'll put it all one word. Okay, so now you can use my affiliate link in the video description if you are looking for New Squawk. They get you for about $70 a month, and I use it, and I think that it is a great deal. And I hear soon that they might be doing the lifetime membership thing again. Oh, I thought that I responded to that guy and I didn't. I'm going to do that after the stream. Okay. So that takes care of that. Oh, we don't need to talk about garlic coin anymore. All right. Twitter, Pelosi declares that the enemy is within the House of Representatives and call for more security. Man. Okay, Pelosi. So the thing I would keep in mind for this GME, even though it looks pretty tame right now, is that if they get any kind of uptrend going, like if it starts going like this, it's just going to do this, right? Like, everybody's just waiting for it to. I agree. All the people who bought sub 50 are way gone. I got in for 10 at 90. I think that you guys have making like really big assumptions about where the retail traders are going to get in and out of without any real way of actually seeing or knowing that that's what's the case. If you believe what they say on Reddit, they're just going to keep holding it until it touches $1,000. And I don't think that the options expiring today is like the end of it either, so I don't know. I don't know. Robinhood's dilemma: insane VAR moves means that it needs even more billions more in capital. But if it halts trading again, it will suffer a terminal exodus in users, ending the platform. What to do? Question mark, asks Zero Hedge. Yeah. Simply warning if they've been warned. I don't know, guys. Hey, listen, let's not try to influence people on the trade. Let's just share information. I know that that's not very effective. Like, I can go and I can show people, look, I have this model. It's been right so many times before. It says that Bitcoin isn't a very good buy right now, but then Elon Musk is going to come in and tweet, and they're all going to follow him, and they don't care what the data says. I get it. That's not very effective, but if you have money in GME that you can't afford to lose, you should not be trading it. 100%. Yeah, there you go. It's an auction, folks. In order to make a bet in either direction, someone on the other side has to believe you're wrong and to put the money where their mouth is. Whether via selling or shorting is what provides liquidity for you to bet the other way. 2 cents. That's Discovery Trading Group. What did Gary Norton say? Because they're responding to Gary here. So, excellent thread on short selling. We're at the 2-year anniversary of the unprecedented ban in short selling Wirecard that was ordered by the German securities regulator. Can't read that one. I think a short selling should be allowed, but they shouldn't be able to short more than the float. They can't afford to lose any money. Lol, they think they will. I don't know about that. Robinhood aren't at much risk raising capital for cash stock buys, are they? Oh, I don't know. Like, the issue with it they've got is that, like, the amount of capital that they're going to have to hold to handle what is practically gambling that's going on. Like, that's a lot of capital to have sitting around. You know what I mean? Is this making you guys nervous? I don't understand the sudden change here in chat on GME. Just because we're only up 50% today, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's over, you better get out now. Like, what? It's like, not really. I mean, the only reason that it's like this is because there's still some restrictions. Like, if Robinhood buyers could buy on market orders, then it probably would be a different story, right? If they could buy with market orders, this probably would already be past 500. Now, that's interesting. Well, actually, I mean, all of them buying on limit orders should still matter, but I'm guessing that probably a lot of people say, oh, I can't use a market order. Well, I guess I'm not even going to bother. I don't know. I'm not saying that it's going to go up or down. I don't think that any of us can really know at this point. I just feel like that people are saying things based off of something that doesn't really have any predictive value. Like that it's down and it hasn't moved up yet. I don't feel that has any predictive value. Why is it trading in such a narrow band? Well, it looks like that the volume is just not there yet. I guess another issue could be that in order for them to pump it the way that they had been doing, they needed to use margin to do it. What has more of an effect on the market price of GME? People buying or shorts being covered? Okay, good question. A buy is a buy and a sell is a sell. But what does matter is when you kind of got like a large meta order. So like when you start getting trending in a certain direction, okay, and then another large order comes in the opposite direction, that other large order will have a larger impact. So right now, for instance, it's kind of down. That suggests that the overall buying and selling balance is that the sellers are being more aggressive. Now, I can't look at the order book, but I'm sure that probably the way that the market makers are holding it, well, I can look at the order book, but it's not very useful in this case because I can't see a whole lot. But it looks to me like it's fair. Well, and if we come on here, we can look at the spread, for instance, so we can see that it's about $1 spread still, so that's okay. Anyways, so I can't really see that, but since it's down, let's just assume that that's the case. If big buying came in, like say something happened, say Elon Musk is gonna tweet something, or Robinhood says, okay, we have enough capital and we're like lifting all restrictions whatsoever, or you know, another retailer does that, or who knows, like there could be a bunch of things, but if that thing were to happen, I would expect that we would make a new high simply because of the sign change. I think Friday got hyped up, so people are worried that it's not done anything exciting yet. Well, there is a real issue that the volume in GME is not that high. This suggests to me still that the retail traders that want to squeeze them aren't able to participate. You want new, but the old these shorts are not. Oh, I didn't get that. Like, listen, like if I went in and I looked at the short interest and it was like 20% of the float, then that would be a different thing. But it's still over 100%, guys. New buyers will have to. They don't have to do anything. That's another fallacy that I'm seeing a lot here. So if there are people out there that are buying on margin, then sure, that they'll have to sell. But I think that the majority of these like actual shares that are being held by retail traders and are refusing to sell, they could lose it all and they wouldn't care less. They're not going to care. They are putting the money in for the cause. Just go and read what they say. Like they understand that it's risky and they understand that they have a high potential to lose money if they're caught holding the bag. They don't care as long as the big hedge funds get screwed. Right? What if these shorts don't want to close? What if they have unlimited resources somehow? Yeah, I don't know. Well, I think that what happens is that the buyers refuse to sell and it just continues to slowly move up. Maybe it dies down for a little bit, but then you have another episode later. And The only way that this ends probably is that GameStop has to issue shares, and they can set any price that they want to issue those shares. $1,000 would be great, though. I'm only selling at 69,420. I don't think the A's got the joke. He probably actually does have a limit order out there at that, though. I bet you that if you go and you look at the book, that there's probably a ton of orders up there. So one of the rumors that had been going around that, to my understanding, isn't actually true, but they've been saying that if you have a limit order out there, that the broker can't lend your shares out to shorts. So they were telling everybody to make sure that you have a take profit limit order set somewhere. Just put it somewhere that like we're not going to hit, like put it somewhere above 1,000. And so some of these guys have been putting them at 69,420. Like it used to be that it was at 694.20, but then they decided that was too close. It needed to be above 1,000, so they moved them. Because there was these posts on Wall Street Bets, these guys looking at the order book and saying, "Stop doing that." This person, Greg Greenwald, talking about the interviews with the Robinhood CEO yesterday, suggesting that maybe the government gave guidance or instructions to halt selling, perhaps. You want to see Knox chart? Why? Okay. AG's looking okay. Oh, now that's interesting, but they are kind of down too. A good move overnight, though. Nokia, probably the same thing. Oh, yeah. Well, Nokia, like, really died down quickly, huh? Jeez. That's brutal. They're all kind of doing a similar thing, aren't they? Now, over here in the Treasury, I just want to point out, there's a big order there in the 10-year. And these are kind of holding because they don't know what's going to happen there, I think. So it looks like we got another one of those situations where I wouldn't necessarily call this balance, but like they don't seem all that interested in doing anything right now. So also the E-mini did recover the open. They did recover the open and pushed higher, but now they're testing the open again. I think that could still be some risk here, right? Because if we come back over here to GME, like all you need is a pivot bar, right? So if you have a bar that closes above the previous bar's high, is how I often like to look at it. So if they get above, like, what is that, 325, 3,300, right? That could give some people some confidence, and then you might see the end. I mean, look at that, the way it's turning there. Even that one is a little bit too tight to tell, but it's just a little curious to me that the indexes are already selling there. What's your biggest position? I have something like $80,000 in S&P 500 index. Yeah, that's my 401k. Over here in this account, though, I think my largest position is still the Goldman. Yep. Almost $2,000. Not quite. It was at one point it was $2,000, but they've pulled back pretty significantly past week or so. Whatever happens this week has been insane. Yeah, it really is. So I asked my wife yesterday, are people on your Facebook talking about this? And she said, no, none of them has said a thing. I go on my Facebook and that's like everybody. And my Facebook, like, here's the thing is that my Facebook page is not full of all traders. Okay. I got a couple of traders on there. A couple of you guys that are friends that have added me on Facebook. By the way, I have some links in the video description for Facebook groups. We don't post in them very often. You could go and post anything that you want in there, but it's kind of more like, let's build the groups up, and then someday when we actually care about it and we want to use it, then it will be there for us. But anyways, most of my friends on Facebook are from raving. From going to concerts and stuff. So when my rave buddies are all doing stuff in the market, I start to be like, And on Reddit, of course, everybody on Reddit's talking about it. And then TikTok was showing me so many things. I was like, okay, here's a person. They're talking about the GME situation. I guess I like that. And then it realizes that you like it. So it starts showing you every piece of content where they've said something about the GME situation. All of a sudden you realize, like, there are hundreds of influencers out there talking about this. Because I was wondering, when we look at the number of concurrent viewers, okay, so we're at 154 right now, which is a lot, really. That's a lot, really. At one point, we were at 500. On Monday and Tuesday, we hit 500, right? And then Wednesday it was less, even though there was like way more craziness on Wednesday in GME. And I realized that it was just the competition. There are just some other channels out there that I guess that YouTube just considers more authoritative or something. But there's like that much competition for the thing. But now we're on the AG play. Okay, so look at that. So we still got a few minutes left in this bar, so I'm not going to get too excited, but that does look like that's a little bit of a turn. And like I said, it's like even if you just even start to see the bar turn green over there on GME, and then you go over and you look at the index futures and they're selling it. So now it's a little difficult for me to, especially since I already made a bunch on the E-minis. So like there's this spot right here. Do you see this? Remember, I keep talking about this. Because when we talk volume profile, everybody always talks about this distinctive shape. But I think that when we're trading, that it's the ears, I guess you could say, that probably matter more. Because that's what you see early on. And then this gets filled in. Unless the bottom falls out here and they never come back. Facebook disabled Robinhood stock traders 157,000 member group. Really? What? I can't believe they do that. How long have you guys been aware of Wall Street bets? That's a good question. I don't know. It's been several years. I think that it was before Donald Trump got elected. In fact, I'm pretty positive that it was before Donald Trump got elected, because the way that I found it is I used to just browse r/all a lot. I don't really do it anymore because most of the crap that gets to r/all is just total crap. And man, politics dominates things. So it's kind of nice to go to my top this hour on my subscribed subreddits and not see r/politics at the top of everything. I don't really know how long it's been around, but I don't know how close I got into it starting, but I remember that it was around the time of the 2016 election. I also would note that what it was at the very beginning is very different from what it turned into. Like back then it was like easy, they were definitely about YOLO plays, but like the market wasn't really moving the same, right? And so the subreddit was really more about like who could post the dumbest trade. It was like that, right? And then all of a sudden, some of those guys like actually started making money on them. And before you know it, you have these fund managers that can buy $50,000 in options and turn it into, $30 million. Loss porn. Yeah, it used to be loss porn, that's for sure. Okay, so we are starting to get some okay trend. We'll see, here's a bar coming in that's red. It's hard enough to grind in here. Well, though, Greg, that it's an interesting thing, though, is that the E-mini seems to be trading off of GME. I don't know. So what can we take from this one? Well, it seems to me that when you're seeing correlations in the market and you want to make a trade in that instrument, that it's better to trade the instrument that's moving and making the thing happen. So if we're taking a trade, like if I'm trading the treasuries and the treasuries start moving down because the E-mini is moving up, the better trade is probably to buy the E-mini. In fact, I think the only case where I would say that rule doesn't apply is when the E-mini is going down. And the reason for that is that when the E-mini is going down, probably you could make more money from shorting the E-mini, but it's tough. Like you can get stopped out of those, so they get really volatile. And when things get really volatile, you can come over to the 10-year and you get all of this liquidity and it's a little bit slower. And so you can get your trade in there. And so while the E-mini is going like all over the place, you can just, buy into your treasury and let it trend and it never comes back on you and you can just sit comfortably. But that's the only case where I've found that it's different. Otherwise, you want to trade the one that's moving. So with all of that in mind, if they really are truly correlated, well, the E-mini is moving back up and that's different. Okay. But if we say that they are still correlated, the better trade would be to be in GME, to buy GME, than it would be to sell the E-mini, right? Thanks, Greg. By the way, Greg, I still want a backtester setup. You don't need to make a video. Just write it all down. Write it all down. I know that making a video is kind of like, I don't know. There's like a certain amount of investment. Sometimes you don't want to, it takes a while to get started. It is a nice one. $5? Listen, Ace, you know what we could do with $5? We could, well, I don't know. There's not a whole lot I can do with $5. But with the amount, I tell you what, I really appreciated the donations this past week. I think we've gotten a donation of some kind almost every day. And also, by the way, I have to say, I wouldn't sit down and be like, oh, I'm not going to donate to Seth because, all I could put in is $5 and like we're trading a ton and it adds up. And YouTube apparently looks at it too. So like if you come in and you do a donation, it seems to me that YouTube is like far more likely to show the video to other people. Yeah. So if you want to donate, why not just do $1? That's fine. Or another thing that you can do is if you're not already a member of the channel, so if you click the join button down below the video here, there's like a join button. Like there's subscribe, but then there's join. And you can join for $1 a month and you can use the smileys. Because I think that chat would be way more fun if you guys used the smileys more often. And those of you guys that are subscribed should take advantage of it. Especially the shocked Seth, because everybody in Discord loves that smiley. Thanks for the coverage over this week. Not a problem at all. I had so much fun this week. I'm definitely going to be this weekend in the post euphoria doldrums. I'm going to have to lift really hard on Saturday to not let myself get and read Yes, this is what we will do. We'll work out on Saturday. I want to go down to the gym on Saturday. And then, by the way, Ace, are you like free this weekend? Because I'll be down in that direction. And that would be a good time to stop by after I go to the gym. Hopefully you don't smell too bad. I don't know. Anyway, or you could come up. But then if I don't do anything with people, I should, take some medication and see how much I can read. Your gyms are, oh yeah, everything is open in Utah. But my gym is different. So the gym that I go to is an Olympic weightlifting gym. So, which is so cool, by the way. I mean, I'm not going to say, hold on, my mouth is dry. I can't say that Olympic weightlifting is for everybody, but if it is something that's for you, it is like super awesome. The whole experience of working out and going to a gym is completely different when it's the same group of people there in the gym every day and you know them all and talk to them the whole time. I mean, it's like, maybe a dozen lifters at our gym, and it's the same people every day. And 2, you're training for competition together as a team, and you're all doing the same workout. It's totally different. But yes, in Utah, pretty much everything is open, but it's also a weightlifting gym, so it's the sort of is powerlifting the same as Olympic? I'm gonna say no. I haven't done powerlifting, so I don't know how tight they are, but probably there are some places that you can go that do powerlifting that it's like that. There you go, Greg. $1.11. Thank you. You guys in the US have been really lucky. UK looks like we're in total lockdown for another. I know, the whole thing is crazy. But I think that's because then over in the US, the governors at least are kind of realizing that it's not like helping them. Like, because in I don't know if it's a fair comparison, because Florida is a lot warmer than New York, right? Okay, like that matters. But in Florida, they never closed back down, and they've been doing great compared to some of these other states that have been, like California. I guess California is still warm too, but in California, they've been shut down like the whole time, and they've been doing terrible. So why does California do so bad and Florida does so good, based off of my understanding of the numbers? Well, one theory is that when you do the lockdowns and you basically the only time that you can go out is when you go shopping at this grocery store at Walmart, that people spread it at Walmart. That might be the case. Oh, Anon became a subscriber. Thank you so much. It's different movements altogether. Oh, well, Anon, what I was referring to more was like, what is the style of the gym? Like, if you do powerlifting, do you go to a gym where it's like a dedicated team and you're kind of doing the same general workouts? Or is it kind of more like a Globo gym where maybe you have the people that go to that gym at the same time as you, but you don't necessarily know them or bother them during your workout, and you know what I mean? Right, you would expect Florida to do worse because of all the retirement homes. Well, but so that's another really interesting thing. Is I've said this before, but and I'm not sure. This is a personal belief of mine. I'm not so sure that we have enough data to prove this, but it seems to me that the only thing that really matters is how well you protect your vulnerable population. So if you don't do a good job and people that are sick get it into the nursing home and then that whole nursing home dies, that's where the big deaths come from, right? People here are COVID fatigued since we've had the longest lockdown and people are rebelling somehow. Yeah. Well, that's probably another thing, yes. It does seem to me that California has been on lockdown for so long that even though you would hear the people, and when you read on social media, they're definitely saying, yeah, we're all locked down, you need to be locked down, but then like their actual behavior ends up being different. So it might not even be because they don't believe that the lockdowns don't help, but because they just can't control the impulsiveness at that point. So I'm just hearing now that GameStop is the third largest short by value behind Tesla and Apple. Anyways, I don't know, but here in Utah, we've been open ever since, the end of that first month. When was it? March? So the end of March, they opened back up, and you were supposed to wear masks and all of this stuff, but we've never been locked down. And it was never the case that I couldn't actually go out and do stuff. What Tesla? Yeah, so when you look at the actual dollar amounts being put into it, it's kind of a different because Tesla is such a large stock, but so there's actually more actual dollars short Tesla and Apple than there are dollars short on GME. But in GME, the number of dollars that are short is a higher percentage of the float shares outstanding than any other stock, and that's why it becomes the focus. Mrs. Cinnamon, the sit-down restaurants. I don't necessarily care too much for the movie experience, but, well, maybe I do, because I really want to see Dune in theaters. Oh my gosh, that movie looks so good. Oh, and you know what else? Oh my gosh, we were going to watch it with Ace. Remember we were talking about it? Top Gun 2? Still don't have Top Gun 2? Ugh. I just want to see Top Gun 2. I just want to see cool airplanes flying around. Come on. I mean, I get a little bit of that on TikTok, but it's not enough. And they've just pushed them all back. No good movies were released. Well, there was a couple of good movies. You know what? I do like having the animation family movies put on and watching those and renting. I mean, it's cheaper than going to the movies, first of all. And there was some good stuff. Like that new Pixar one. What was it? The Soul. Yes, Soul. I thought that was going to be, I don't know what it's about, but just the marketing and everything kind of looks like no, it was great. I thought it was so great. You need to better buy some AMC or there won't be any movie theaters left. I don't know. See, the difficulty that I have with AMC on that one is there's definitely some opportunity to squeeze some shorts out, but I really do question the future of movie theaters. Like, it's going to take some real work from the movie industry to get people to go back to theaters, because some of the big movie studios said, screw it, we're just going to put everything on our streaming platforms. And that's a big problem for everybody else, The SEC vows to protect retail investors. Good. Then stop preventing us from buying. Let us pump the stock up and squeeze the shorts out. Listen, if you want to protect, if they don't let the squeeze happen, the retail investors are going to hold it all the way to the bottom. And then, the shorts will just cover at a lower price and the retail investors won't make the money. If you want the retail investors to make money, let them buy it up to 1,000. It's such a bullcrap. It's not protecting retail investors at all, really, does it? You had 15K on the ES and you blew it. Oh, that's really sad, Greg. I gotta say, it's really frustrating, isn't it, Greg? Because as of late, I mean, it used to be that there was things that you could do on the ES, and I thought that they were pretty consistent. Like before the pandemic, we had some, and even when there was some crazy chaos going around, it was like we kind of worked it out, and we just had to know when it was getting too crazy, and you would stay out, right? And then the pandemic came along, and ever since then, everything has just been all wonky. And anytime that you think you've got something working, it flips around on you and it stops working. And then the volatility comes, and then you're just really screwed. I feel you, because I feel bad because I always say like it's real trading. Well, we have been doing real trading, but like there are some times where I have to cut back on the risk. I got screwed on my edge this month, huh? What are you saying? Just thinking? This was an article from like an hour or so ago. If you're posting a link, you can't see them. So only moderators can post links. Oh, don't post the... now I'm going to have to go and watch the trailer again. When? Oh, it looks good. Started to let my stops go. Oh, no, you can never do that. But I understand the situation, because it's like, oh, I know what's going on here. I can trade this and take advantage of this. It's more volatile, so I have to increase my stop, right? And then it just gets crazy and crazy. Been trading hard since 1998, yeah. Well, your edge is not static. Did GME really sell at 380? That was probably an OTC trade. My understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe some of you other old timers that are a little bit more familiar with stocks can tell me the answer, but when you get these trades where it's like there's one trade that causes this huge tail spike, that those are usually OTC trades. Being reported late. So they made the trade way back here over the counter, and it's only now being reported to the exchange. That's what I think happens. $60 ATR turns into 100 ATR. Yeah. I mean, like yesterday when I was trading and I got really frustrated and I stopped trading almost immediately. That was where it was like, okay, like the 16 tick stop is pretty wide and is usually good. So when the 16 tick stop gets taken out within a second, that's like, I can't trade that. That is then, well, I have to change the way that I trade at least. Late report. Yep. Okay. By the way, how are our robots doing? Oh, they're so bad. They're so bad. Oh, why did that one take a 18K? Really? Oh, that's so interesting. Okay. So why? Okay, so first of all, I don't think that Joseph has risk management. Maybe we need to give him risk management, because 1834 lost on a day, pretty bad. And it's not like there wasn't spots that he could have bought. He only takes longs. I don't know. Maybe there's some, I bet you on all of these, there's probably some optimization that we can do. Because it's always like I come in here, it's always, they took longs when it was a bad day. And I was like, well, it would be dumb to try and buy it today, but they do it. And if I try and filter it down so that they don't take it against the trend, you would think that's enough, but it's not, because then on a regular day, there's got to be a better way to say, don't take it if it's against the trend and it's a crazy day. You know what I mean? Anyways, but most of these guys have like some risk management built in, and he doesn't have it. But the thing that I find interesting is that Jay, so I made some changes to Jay. I changed Jay so that he only takes limit orders. And it appears that him taking the limit orders has helped. But it's interesting to me that when he's doing that on the micro versus the ES, that it does better on the micro. You could tell it not to take trades when ATR. Well, that's true. I do that. I don't know if today is like justifies it. I do it on a daily basis. If the daily ATR hits a certain number, then it doesn't trade. I do that. I guess I haven't tried that on Joseph. I should try it. Okay, so for this guy, he is okay. Yeah, like he is getting we want him to be 66%. But what is the average winning trade is 100 and the average losing trade is 200. So that's all correct. It looks like he's just not catching the win enough. But 66 trades in one day is a lot. So I think I would say that our little experiment has helped. That forcing it to use limit orders is better. If I have the limit order set out there and move it around on a tick-by-tick basis, I think that would be good. But I think now is the time for me to try and start applying some filters and reduce the overall number of trades that it takes in an attempt to try and get the win rate up into the 70s and 80s%. Do you think we can do it? I think we can do it. I could also tell it to not do these when it's really trending. So that might help. That sucks that that one is so bad. Because we did really good yesterday, but that's definitely $3,000. That definitely wipes out yesterday's winnings. So I think that we've got some good bases here, but like there's still some problems. It's just frustrating because every time that I try to go in and solve the problems, it doesn't make it better. Okay. Jimmy kind of still being a little wishy-washy. You see major weakness in markets today? Well, seems to me that the E-mini sold off on the beginning because everybody was afraid that GME was just going to like completely take off. But then when it didn't do that, they flipped it back around. But it also doesn't look like the longs are like feel secure enough to like really push it. By the way, look at the big orders in the 10-year on the bid. 9Ks now. So we're back into close to some of the highest liquidity that we've had. Yeah, well, they just got dashed again. And by the way, I was just thinking, have you seen... Oh, wait, that's not what I want. Just want to move it, and I want to minimize it. Have you seen the new clips feature on YouTube? Here, wait, let me find this video. YouTube clips. I will show you. So here's the video. You're going to love this one. Here's the link so you can try it yourself. So here's this guy's video, right? This could be like our live stream. It's not enabled for all YouTube channels yet, so we don't have it on our channel, but at some point we will. And you can click this button that says clip. Clip. And then we can do all of this stuff. Here's the thing. I can scrub around and I can find a 1-minute portion of the video that I want to clip. And then when I'm happy with that clip, and I can put a title, blah, 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 and then you can share that clip. And it will link people to that one clip, and it'll like play when that part of the clip is over. Did you see how the red part went back to the beginning? It'll just play that one part of the clip over and over again, and then they can choose to go back out and view the rest of the video. Yeah. So if we have a part of the stream So we've been doing all of this stuff for clipping to, so that I could go back and make highlight videos if I wanted to. I don't need to do that anymore. You guys, if there's something that you liked and thought was funny, you can go and clip it and share it, and it will make the clips for us. And it's that simple. Pretty cool, right? And then they get shown on like the YouTube's version of TikTok. So I'm pretty excited. I can't wait till we have it on our channel. And apparently they're doing other stuff that I hope will be good for streaming. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay, well, GME was getting some pretty okay long trend going there. There was a little bit of an impulsive sell bar. Well, if they're able to overcome that sell bar and keep this consistent trend going, then that would be really good, I think. But this is still like it's going to be random and we can't know. Like, I can interpret what the chart was saying before, but the chart doesn't necessarily tell you what's going to happen in the future. That is very cool. I will play with it later. Should I start with, yeah, maybe you should. Any part of a video that you thought was good and would make a 1-minute video clip. Probably what's going to happen is all of the haters will just find all of my worst trades and clip those, but that's okay. Okay, Big Nasty asks thoughts on SLV stock, and then also SLV calls for April. So I like this trade. I do. And I'll try and explain why. So just, I keep track of the futures, and so I watch gold. I don't watch silver. Silver's kind of a different thing, but I watch gold. And since it really goes much further back, okay? Well, you get these things where gold is doing really, really well, and then you get this. And this often happens when there's like risk moves in the market. So there's kind of this overall look that like gold could be something that moves in the future. It looks good, but they just haven't had the best of luck getting it out there and getting above 2,000. So with, inflation coming in and all of these other things, the market really looks good for all of the metals. I mean, copper has been doing just amazing, absolutely amazing in copper. And, I think that silver and gold could follow as well. So then you get a bunch of these Redditors and they say, hey, silver should be worth more. Now, mind you, part of the way that they're valuing this silver is kind of a fallacy, because they're coming out and they're saying back in the 80s, silver was worth $50 and now it's only worth $50. And that's not right. Well, yeah, if you're taking the all-time high when it was basically, in a bubble because somebody cornered the market, that doesn't really count. Okay, because that's what happened in the 80s, the first time that it ran. And then remember that silver like really was going on a rise. I think it was like 2010, 2009, 2010, something like that. No, it was much further after that. It had to have been like 2012. And I played that one. That was fun. And they went right up to that $50 again, and then they collapsed. And at that point, the exchanges were increasing the margin required and all of this sort of stuff. And so, collapsed again. So overall, I like the fundamentals and I like, the potential in the trade. And when you add all of these Redditors kind of jumping on it, now it's not the same thing as GME. Because remember that the key to GME is that they've got a ton of shorts and they're trying to squeeze out the shorts. Okay, so that's different. But it's also not the same as Dogecoin, because Dogecoin, there's no reason to buy Dogecoin. It's just trying to convince other people to buy in after you. In this case, I think that you've got a solid trade with a reason that other people might take the trade. And so I think it's a good trade setup. So I did yesterday, I bought some shares of AG, which is another one of those, a silver play. Mostly because I've had some There's some things that the SLV has kind of done that I'm not like super. I don't remember all of the stuff, but I remember when silver was going last time that like you didn't want to buy SLV. So I bought AG. So I bought AG and I bought some calls on it, and they're doing pretty good today. Made $100 on that, and made $50 on the shares. Man, I'm super happy about that. But those two that that together more than cancels out my play that I made in Bitcoin trying to short Bitcoin. Thanks, Elon. I would be up on that one too today if it wasn't for freaking Elon. So the difference is my theory is that AG will run off more because the Redditors believe that SLV is kind of in concert with the people that manipulate silver and keep it down. So they're saying don't do SLV, do AG. And that's the only reason. Really, the best thing that you could do is go and buy a silver futures contract. But those are like $14,000 to hold overnight. Okay, so we're coming back down to where the shorts positions were. The action is not particularly dire or anything like that. They do appear to once again be moving down because the price action and chart looks okay in GME. They had that solid red bar, and it looks like they're going to pop up above it. And of course, they would need to make a new high. Anytime, it's kind of funny because like I said, like new highs and new lows aren't very predictive in my experience in back testing it, because what I found was like if you get a move like this and then you say okay, higher low, it's gonna go higher, right? There's two problems with this. Number one is, at one point do you say that this has happened? So you might not be able to say that it's definitively happened until it's right here, and so that kind of increases your entry price, and so that's your first problem. And then the second problem is that if there is a pivot, you are more likely to have another pivot. Pivots beget pivots, and so what will really happen is you're going to get this sort of a thing where it's going to go like this. And it's going to retrace around that area a lot because there's going to be a lot of pivots in that area. And when it does this sort of a thing, you lose more than you make when this one happens, because this one is actually less common. So I look at a pivot. I don't necessarily say that's a good sign. That's predictive that we're going to move up. But what I do see is retail traders view it as such. Yeah. So if I come in here and they make it, they close above 33.40 or so, and that would make this spot down here a pretty clear pivot on the chart. And there's going to be a lot of retail traders looking at that and saying, hey, this looks good. I think that we could run. Yeah. The market makers are definitely correlating the shorted meme stocks negative beta to SPX. They absolutely are. I don't even think that it's the market makers. I mean, it's kind of weird to, well, maybe not. I was going to say it would be kind of weird to me that they would build that into their models, but they could just have this overall correlation that they know that this index is going down. And GME buys up, and so the hedge funds, their systems automatically sell to account for the loss because that's the way that their strategies work. And, ES is reacting because of that. But what I see, and I'm not seeing at the moment, but what I have seen is when GME gets going, you see active market selling and chaos in the futures, like you saw on the open and on the trade that I took that was a winner, right? So there's definitely something going on there. I'm not seeing like VIX like coming down either, by the way. So we got the VIX back here. Like VIX went lower and it's come back up. What do I think about the monthly candle on the S&P? I don't look at monthly charts. Oh man. Like when I come and I look at like the daily ES, I see, hey, there's a little bit of risk. They came right back to support. Cool. Means nothing. I just have to caution, like, you can detect short-term imbalances in order flow in positioning. And every once in a while, in a rare situation, you can make a call that has a very high, well, maybe I shouldn't say a very high, but a relatively high probability of occurring. Okay, places where you can get with 60, maybe even 70 or 80%, depending on how you manage the risk. But let's say equal risk reward, 60% chance of being able to predict where it's going to go in the short term. These kinds of trades are not super common, and there is a high degree of competition for them, and they're hard to catch. Okay. But every once in a while, you'll just see it and you'll know, especially if you're watching order flow. I think that this GameStop is one of those cases where you can make calls that are a relatively high probability. But other than that, future buyers and sellers can choose to do whatever they want, and there's no real way to predict what they're going to do unless you have a piece of information. Right? Unless you're an informed trader and you know information that the rest of them don't, and you know that when that information is disseminated to the rest of them, that they're going to make decisions based off of that, or you know that something is likely to happen. Like for instance, here on the GME thing, like it's been depressed because the Robinhood traders aren't allowed to trade it, right? Well, those of us that know more about the markets know that Robinhood isn't going to keep the shares halted forever because it hurts their business, and probably the only reason that they halted it is because they don't have enough liquidity for it. So they're scrambling to get things up and going in full as quickly as possible. And if the retail traders just hold through that, and then this could just keep taking off again next week. Unless the government steps in, or the GameStop finally decides to sell some shares. So yeah, and then again, like I was saying, because of the execution impact of your trading, essentially making your exit negative, there's really no reason to trade unless you have one of those predictive signals, which means that you kind of have to have it's better to rely on informed trading. Now, you can still do the market making bit. That's really hard to do as a retail trader, but you kind of have to supplement it in one way or another because you don't always have good news trades out there, right? That's the way that I look at it. Well, the E-mini sure did come down there, though, didn't it? The traders gonna trade mugs are really cool. Yeah, if you are, you know, like some people in this room, you know, they will play it in the background on their phone while they're making breakfast or whatever, and so they subject their entire family to my voice every morning, you know. And Valentine's Day is coming up. Then a trader's gonna trade mug would be a great gift for them, I think. Yeah. And you can find the link for that in the video description below. Yeah, Robinhood had to halt buying due to their own capital requirements under SEC regulations. I think that's exactly what happened. And it was because people were taking really big, irresponsible bets on margin. If it was just everybody buying shares, then it wouldn't have been a problem, right? But what has happened is Robinhood has become more than just buying shares. It's like, oh yeah, we're not just gonna buy shares. We're gonna let you guys have options and buy stocks on margin. This is dangerous stuff to give these people. Of almost inevitable they were going to abuse it, huh? Can you overlay the charts? Let's see if there's any pattern between the three. Well, so I don't really want to go through all the effort to figure out how to stack them in Fidelity. I'm sure that there's a way to do it, but no, you know what? I kind of changed things. I would say that overall, they kind of you'll notice that they will like pivot in the same spots, but like the directions of them will be different. Like Nokia today is not. It's kind of depressed a little bit. What's your channel name in Discord? So, the way this worked is we created the Discord channel first, and then we decided to start the live stream. So that whole Discord is a Discord that I manage, and I kind of make it like most of the people that are participating over there in the Discord are actually don't watch the YouTube. But because the people that watch the YouTube, they just participate here in live chat. But you should, so if you want to post something, and you have to like start doing things first before you'll get picture posting permissions, okay? But you should post in the channel that makes the most sense for the thing that you're doing. So like if you have a stock chart, there's a stock and options channel. If you're doing ES, then you should be doing the equity indexes channel. And if you're trading the 10-year, you should put it in the interest rates channel. Is that what I call it? Yep, interest rates. Please reorganize. Well, I think that it might seem like there's a ton if you don't really understand how it's done. So these are like the general purpose ones where I have announcements. I also have a channel for platforms and brokers and the downloads and stuff, right? And then you got products. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of them, but there's a lot of different products that people trade. And you're only going to be interested in one. Well, if you're trading futures, you're generally speaking, there's only going to be one channel that you're going to be interested in. For the vast majority of you, it's going to be equity indexes or maybe crude. I guess crude is probably second most popular. I have interest rates there at the top because that was the one that we started with, but interest rates actually isn't as popular. And then all of these other ones down here, we don't use these as much. These are just like folders for us to separate things, but these aren't ones that you're going to like open up and sit and watch all day, right? What you're going to do is the way that this is intended to be used is you come in and you say, okay, what product am I trading? Equity indexes. And then we just sit and watch in equity indexes and we talk with them. There's a lot of activity there this morning, by the way. That makes sense? So if the edge that you're really going to get as a retail trader is being able to trade an informational edge and being nimble on it, because the large traders, they aren't able to move fast enough, and some of the small traders don't necessarily realize what's going on yet. So every once in a while you can kind of catch this good trade. So if that's what you're doing, then the thing that makes the most sense is to focus on one instrument, right? To know everything about ES and what drives the movement in ES and be an expert on that, right? So that's why we split it out into channels like that. MES sliding away into London close. Yeah, here's a good point. That sell was into the London close. Interesting. So maybe some London traders stuck in some longs there, you think? What do you think? I mean, look at the treasuries. I mean, I guess this is mostly retracing the massive down move that we got off of the numbers earlier today. And, you know, it was a pretty big downturn from yesterday too. So a reversal of some sort makes sense, but it sure looks strong when you look at all of those 9K bids below us. Do you think this could just keep going? Well, I'm probably on the tail end of it, so I don't know if another trade over there makes sense. I should have tried mine back down in here. You know what else? There was that big guy, he had the 9K and they hit him, and so I thought it was going to go down. But then in the end, it moved up. I think that the guy that we were trading there with, that was for real, but that they didn't expect the risk off to come in back into the treasuries. They thought that the supply concerns and the things that pushed them down to begin with were going to continue. And it didn't. So that's just how it goes sometimes, I guess. This is why the treasuries can be so frustrating to trade as a retail trader, because it's like almost impossible to really get the information. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's a group of people out there that I can talk to that could get me in the know, and like we could talk every day, but maybe if I lived in New York, Nokia taking a little bit of a hop there. Do you think too much sideways movement in GME will cause retail traders to lose interest? Well, I guess I don't really know for sure, but I hope that they don't. And I don't think that they will. I think that the people on Reddit are going to be pretty adamant about staying in until they get what they consider to be a really big move, which they hope will move us to 1,000. CJ says processing the data is also incredibly difficult. Well, so there's this other side to treasuries, which is like you can look at how many government bonds they're putting out on the auction and the interest rates from other countries and what's going on with the different currencies and all of these things, and you can factor that into your market making strategy. And it does appear to me that the market making algorithms that trade in the treasuries do factor those sorts of things in. But for us, the retail traders, that's going to be an awfully big pull, and you can kind of already get that information from just looking at the book. But the kind of information that I'm talking about is like there's a huge corporate bond offering coming out today. How do you get that information? Or it was just announced, and like the news squawks don't even necessarily cover that stuff. So, like, where do you get this information on treasuries? I don't know. Retail seems diluted. Now Wall Street bets are having Twitter conspiracies upvoted to the front page. And, well, I don't know. I find a lot of people, like, losing confidence in the retail trade thing. I'm not in on that theory, because I think that the whole thing has been set up and they've been preaching from the very beginning. You hold, it doesn't matter what happens, you hold until the shorts are out, and the shorts are not out. We are still over 100% float. Right? So I think that they could sit around, today could be a consolidation day, and it just sit around all day and they'll just wait until Monday. How many porn stars do you follow on Twitter? There's definitely a thing where when you start to see porn stars tweeting about Bitcoin or what, the last time around it was porn stars tweeting about Bitcoin. in 2017 that, you know, like you're close to a top of something. There you are, Gary. Who was it? What was somebody? Oh yeah, somebody was asking if they thought that the VIX would get to 40 today. And I was like, I don't know. Maybe. Well, I tell you what, with the way that the E-mini is trading, they could make a new overnight low here very soon, and then maybe we could get some real spike in the VIX. So far, well, I mean, there are bouts of like really extreme volatility, but so far it doesn't look like the E-mini is in like all-out panic mode, even though it does look very bearish. It's expiry Friday, lots of premium expires, so yeah. So you're saying it's possible. By the way, did you see the message that I sent you last night? Did you see the trade I showed you last night? Because I took it and I'm really happy with it so far. I did find the Bitcoin one. I think I spent a little bit more than I wanted to, and then Elon Musk came out, so I think that trade is just finished. I think that the Bitcoin trade is done for now. Maybe we'll circle back to that one in a week or two when if the retail trading in that calms down. Because I'm trading off of an informational edge based on fundamentals about how it's used. If informational edge comes in based off of speculation from people following a celebrity on Twitter, that will trump anything that I'm looking at, right? So a baby needs birthday presents. Oh man. Better than a piñata, but not as much fun as a birthday cake with a girl waiting inside to pop out. Ah! Oh man. How do you do that sort of a thing? Is it like you got to build like a piece of wood with a hole in it and then put the cake over top of the hole so that you can? How do you do that? You look like a bald Jake Glenn. Oh, that is a new one. Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so, man. No way. Listen, I am not nearly as good looking as Jake Gyllenhaal. Good grief. Man. He is a good looking guy, I think. No, who is the Lieutenant Stapler? Or the SVU, what is his name? Yeah, there you go. Some people say that I look a little bit like him. And some people say I look a little bit like Eminem. Rapper. I forget what his real name is. Oh, Eminem. Duh. Shows you how much I type that. See, like that. You got that. And then the other one is Niles Crane from what is that guy's name from Kramer? It's not as much now because I don't have hair. But when I had hair, my hair kind of looks like his hair, so. Marshall Mathers, that's right, that's his real name. I know. So people have always told me that I look like this guy and Eminem had like a child together. Okay, but then there's this other one. There's this what is this? Sorry, Amanda Cerny's boyfriend. I always forget his name because it's this German name that's hard to remember. Yeah, there we go. Johannes Bartel. This guy, man, he's on Instagram. He got a big Instagram. And, man. Oh, it won't let me go big without signing into Facebook. Oh, that's fine. Hold on. So just gonna, oh, okay, just lets me in. Well, he has a mask on, so that doesn't really help. When you get him from the right direction, he looks so much like me. He has the same nose, like the same eyes. He's maybe a little bit better looking than me. Oh my gosh, come on. Tell me we are not like twins. I don't know who Johnny Sins is. I've never heard that one before. Isn't this you? Is it going to be a picture of like a llama or something? No, Homer. I'm going for that look at some point. I need to get more white shirts and stuff. Okay, so the E-mini bouncing there just a tad. Anyone can be bald. You have to judge their face. I just don't see it. Wait, sorry. I got rid of him. I like when I look at his face, I don't see the resemblance. Maybe a little bit because I have the beard, but like I guess maybe our eyes are definitely different. The big thing, if I make the camera big, the most distinctive thing about myself and my family are the eyes. Like we've got like really crazy bug eyes. Like I would even say bordering on like genetic defect, large. And then you get the eyelids that go over them. So like if I'm not looking up, like in the TikTok videos, if I'm not like looking straight up like this, and I'm looking down, then it looks like I'm like falling asleep. You know what I mean? And I also get pretty bloodshot eyes, so you can see. But see this guy right here, Johannes. He's got that. He's got the eyes. Look at the eyes. Look at that. He's got the big eyes. And he's got the nose. Like weird. So I think that when somebody's like, are you Amanda Cerny's boyfriend? Somebody asked me that. I was like, I looked it up. I was like scary. Like I started, you go through some of his, he has like videos. And when you watch him, like the videos and like his head turns, there are certain shots where you like can almost swear that it was me. Like it literally looks like me until he completely turns and then you see his whole face and then you go, oh, okay, it's not Seth. Really seriously does. Of course, I don't have the upper body musculature that he does, unfortunately. Homer Simpson eyes. And yes, I think that I look like One Punch Man, yes. Totally down. That's what I'm going to be for next Halloween, I think. So did you see how GME smashed down at the close, then after market, it whipped back in 30% moves? Yeah. Well, it looks to me that without the full army of Robinhood traders trading in it, that there is not enough noise traders to really have a effective market, and the market makers just like completely pull back. And yeah, so I bought this, and then overnight a little bit of a ramp up because of Robinhood saying that they'll allow limit buys again. Since then, I mean, I guess it's a little bit down, but one of the things is that because it's been pretty quiet today, I'm noticing a lot, especially here in our chat, that people are kind of like losing confidence in it. Oh yeah, sorry. I'm only showing cam. Yeah, so here was I bought back in here. And then that was the ramp up because they're allowing limit orders again. And then it's opened up, and since then we've traded 22 million shares, and so it's not anywhere close to as crazy as it has been. So now it's like some people are saying, is it over? I thought that Friday there was supposed to be the biggest fireworks yet. and it's just kind of holding price. Well, I don't think I would worry so much about that. I think that it being quiet and holding price, and if we just go all day today and we close somewhere around 320 to 350, I would be like, I think that would be great. Can you pull? I can. Hold on a second. I have to pull this up because I don't want to. Can you have to get into it? Directed trade and extended hours. GME, and then you get, so this is what I can see. So right now it looks like that the book is okay. I mean, you're seeing a lot of 100 lots out there, at least on the different exchanges. There's still a lot of like really small transactions, but earlier it was like when I was looking at it yesterday, for instance, when I first found this and I was looking at it, it was, well, you get this sort of a thing where it's like most of the book is just one lots at different prices, and they just gobble them all up. I read something about the shorts need GME to close below 115, so they're probably holding ammo from yesterday for power. I don't know. Watch that level 2 change the time and sales to 500 blocks. Can I do that? I don't know if I can do that. That is for the quantity. You see that? All of those are just for trading. I don't think that I can change, that I can filter this. Power hour is the last hour of trading. So the vast, this is kind of interesting. I did a study on this when I worked for Goldman Sachs. They said, Seth, we need to try and figure out what the most number of orders that went through in any given second for the whole year. And so they gave me the log files for every order that had been processed that day, which I don't think that it would be appropriate for me to give you that number. But I will just say that the log files for one day was so huge that to do that analysis, I had to use a highly distributed file system to do it. So I went through and then I aggregated all of the orders by time and so forth. And when you do it, of course, what you get is pretty close to volume. And I think those of us that are familiar with this aren't going to be surprised by what the result is, but you're going to get something like this. There's going to be more volume in the daytime, and it really, really trails off, especially for lunch. And then there's another spike the last hour, like that. Well, it's not even like that. It's more like there's this. So it's more like goodish. It goes straight up and it kind of comes down, and then yep, like that. Okay. Because at the end of trading, there's a lot less trading after that. But it's usually not as much volume as the open. Okay. But especially when you're talking about like an options expiration, for instance, people are going to be are going to care about where it closes, and they're going to be trying to move it. So, I'm not quite sure how you take advantage of that game, but it's something that happens. I do, I'm just thinking about what you're saying, Gary, and I really do feel like if I could look at large orders in there, it would help. Because I'm really want to be like, I want to be able to see this sort of thing. And any thoughts on, well, the Dodge question will take longer, so let me go back to Tom. What do you think of the news going around about Robinhood deactivating accounts? So I haven't heard that they're quote unquote deactivating accounts. They made it so that you can't buy certain stocks. They did close some people out of at-risk positions, which means that they were using margin, and they basically got a margin call, maybe a little bit earlier than you normally would, but it was still a legitimate margin call. I think that Robinhood is doing what they're doing because they have certain regulatory requirements about the amount of capital that they need to hold on. And you mofos in this stock are trading on so much margin that they can't cover it all. Now on Dogecoin, I would state again that the way that this works is when you trade, you have an impact on the thing that you have. And the larger your order is, the more impact it will have. But that impact is not linear. It kind of starts to trail off, and there's a certain point at which your impact is just, you start trading more shares and it doesn't have a more impact. Okay. Which is why they split their orders up, by the way, right? Because you want these ones to be small. You want the big one. Okay. Anyways, so when you see something like Garlic Coin or Dogecoin, I like Garlic Coin. If you want to go and buy Garlic Coin, listen, if you like the move in Dogecoin, then you need to go and get yourself some Garlic Coin, because I don't know if it's going to happen this cycle, but someday it's going to go up, and Garlic Coin is going to be worth like $1. And there is a lot less supply in Garlic Coin too, by the way, maximum of 69 million shares. And it's going to go. It'll be worth $1 and you'll be rich. Anyways, so you have an aggregate and connect on the market. But the larger that the order is, the less the impact it has, even though each of those still has, a large impact, right? But if your sign changes, then all of a sudden that resets and your impact is greater again, right? So when you're looking at things like Dogecoin, you have to ask yourself, it's a pump and dump. Am I early or late to this? How many more people are going to get in after me? Because at some point they're going to sell, and I guarantee you that when they sell, it's going to go all the way back down. Stocks like GME are different because in GME, there's a reason for it. This one is easy. In GME, it's easy because we have an impact, yes. That impact forces somebody else to buy. And we know very clearly from all of the data and everything that guy is there and that you just have to hold. That's what makes short covering rallies such a good opportunity. You just don't want to get caught holding the bag. That's the disadvantage to the short covering rally, is that if you miss the exit and you're late, you're going to lose everything. Okay. So, but you get good probability, good risk reward with a short covering rally trade. Look at TRX. Owner of Tron wrote he was buying $1 million. What? That's a ton. Well, I don't know. I mean, the way that the price action is going right now, like, remember, I keep saying that, like, when you do this, the chances are that you're going to do that. And then maybe you even back out. And when you do that, it kind of creates an opportunity for the shorts to say, no, actually, we're going to do this, right? So what's better? Slow and steady. Buy the dip, sell the rips. Buy the dip, sell the rips. So this action that we're having in GameStop right now, I'm pretty happy with, actually. Thoughts on silver? I've already mentioned that one, but I'll go through it again. I think that the metal markets have a pretty good look to it, fundamentally wise. We are expecting that there should be more inflation. We don't know if it's going to be like crazy, and there is a risk of deflation. But overall, gold has been in a good spot. Like it's been bullish overall, but they've pulled back and they've been struggling. At some point this year, I do believe that they will break 2,000 on gold, and so a buy in gold and silver, I think, makes total sense. And all of these Redditors buying it up because they say that it's undervalued, I think that they're right. And having them all behind you is a great setup. And it's pretty early in that trade. That one hasn't reached the meme status. So I think that, once they're done with GME and AMC, that SLV could be the next one that like really pops and everybody goes, oh, I wish I had caught that one. So I bought some AG. In full disclosure, I bought some AG and some options in AG that look good. The data from Dodge last night, the fluctuation was like 100% per second. Yeah, because I don't think people understand, like, because the data is hidden from them. I mean, it's maybe not necessarily hidden from them, but they just don't have it. And even if they had it, most people don't understand what an order book is and stuff, right? Like, if I wanted to come in and sell a ton of, like, let's say that I wanted to come in and sell 30,000 contracts of 10-year treasuries. That's about the size that a large fund might, or maybe even like a sovereign wealth fund may use. Okay. How far would you get it to go? That. It would just be that. That would be it. Then that would be 30,000 contracts. Like there is a ton of liquidity in the Treasury. And that's the advantage to it, is that you can go in and you can make a move in the Treasury without having a lot of an effect on it. And then you just kind of have to wait for the thing that you think is going to happen. And then the market makers pull and let it move up, right? You will see ticks where, like, look here, nobody ever bought it there. And it was only 331 contracts to buy it, right? Because the market makers pulled their offers and it actually traded up on very little volume. And so people don't even think about that. But then even people like myself that do know about the order book, but we're not looking at the order book in the stocks. And then we think, okay, it's the same thing, but it's not the same thing. Like, look at it. Okay, the best bid and best ask, there's a spread of about anywhere from 20 cents to $1. And some of these bids are only one. Look, if I went out and sold my one share right now, it would move the stock 10 cents. I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but I mean, that's just $300 worth, you know? And then you got these hundreds on there. Add 2 zeros to that. So $10,000 worth. And you could have a measurable impact on price. And a lot that big would definitely affect all of these guys, right? So it's just not that hard to move stocks sometimes. Is that what? So that's where we go. So the Reddit movement is safe to follow as long as people keep buying, which is likely. Well, no. So in GME, if the longs just have to hold. Like, the longs just have to hold because who's the buyer that's going to come in after you? The shorts. The shorts are going to have to come in and buy it from you at some point. That's the theory all in that one. With these other ones, like silver, for instance, I think you can buy silver because there's going to be a lot of fund managers and other people that trade in gold and silver all the time that are going to buy it for fundamental reasons, because I think that the whole fundamentals and setup for it looks good right now. In Dogecoin, okay, like that one, in order for that one to keep going up, you have to get enough hype around it that a bunch of people say, oh, I'm going to start trading Dogecoin now. And how many people are actually going to do that like actually have like even access to the crypto exchanges and would be willing to put that much money into it? You know what I mean? Are you enjoying the Friday off? Well, you know what? I totally lost track of time. You're right. But I don't have to do the morning meeting today. And in fact, I haven't gotten any buzzes either. No, you're right. I just totally lost track of like the last 30 minutes. Do you think I think that we should come back though for Power Hour? What do you think? I can do the last 30 minutes of trade and we can look at it and you guys can ask more of these questions. If you have a question and I didn't answer it, then what you can do is when I end this stream, it will take about 20 minutes to process, and then it will show up on the YouTube channel as a video and with like regular comments. So then you can go and you can leave your question in the comments and I'll respond to it there. If you had that much to move, you would attempt to do it in the block. Yeah, well, yeah. But that's why we're kind of talking about, like, so then what are the things that you do to reduce your impact? You split the order up and you space those buys out so that by the time the impact for the first trade has disappeared, then you take the next one and so forth. And based on how much risk you're willing to take on, because it could move while you're taking the trade and stuff like that. And there's ways of calculating this with models. And they spend a lot of money developing and improving these models. That's why it's kind of like when you talk about, like, do you have an edge, like a predictive edge? Because for us retailers, you have to have a predictive edge, really, right? That chat doesn't show up in some. It should always. You just might have to wait long enough. But you'd think everybody thinks, oh, well, I just have to trade how Wall Street trades because they have that edge. But the reality is that they don't. The game is completely different for them because they're just executing for somebody else. I guess what you're trying to do is maybe duplicate a hedge fund. But then how does a hedge fund work? They're not necessarily always making directional calls. A lot of what a hedge fund does has more to do with portfolio theory, which is a game that you can play on a smaller scale. But like the game that we try to play, which is like just predicting short-term direction, there's not a lot of evidence out there that you can do it effectively. The only ones that I've really found that like I know exist are too fast. Too much competition. And they're definitely not based on anything that you look at on a chart. Okay. I do gotta go. Thank you, John. We are okay. Otherwise, they would have started texting me like, where are you? But I'm on support now, so it's different. Okay, so I will see you guys Sunday. I'll put a video out. Gotta start editing that tonight, I guess. But I've got a video for Sunday. It's a big video. We had a big week, so I'm putting the big video out. So make sure you're subscribed and click the bell icon for that. And otherwise, I will see you on Monday. And maybe if we start seeing some crazy stuff, maybe we'll pop back up for Power Hour. But yeah, and also if you want to get in contact with me, you can always email me or send me a message on Discord. So I will see you guys later. Stay profitable, friends.